operations in the emerging markets. The topic cover, but not limited to capital markets, financial institutions and services, corporate finance, risk modeling and management, market microstructure in financial markets, Islamic finance, behavioral finance, and financial crisis. So ICMR has been indexed in EBSCO host and DOA and also Crossref. And so our editorial teams are Mr. Zafri Husodo as our chief editor and Mrs. Dwi Nasinti Ganasari as our vice editor. So this webinar focuses on helping contributors on how to write a well-qualified article on the topic of finance and banking. So this workshop will be guided by a well-experienced speaker who will discuss part by part of journal articles as well as to offer his experiences and tricks in writing and publishing a qualified article. Moreover, the workshop will provide a chance among participants and speakers to discuss recent research issues and publication opportunities in finance and banking areas. So in today's agenda, we will have several topics covering how to write a good article for a scholarly journal, responding to reviewers' comments, tips and tricks to get your article published, and discuss recent topics in finance and banking. So our speaker for today is Mr. Evan Lau, PhD, as Managing Editor of International Journal of Business and Society. And we will have our moderator, Dr. Dwi Danasari, as Vice Editor of Indonesian Capital Market Review. So please participants, mute the microphone throughout the session. And if you have any question, please feel free to drop it in the chat box, or you can unmute and ask directly to Mr. Evan Lau during the Q&A and discussion session. And also don't forget to fill the attendance form that is already put it in the link in the chat box. So without further ado, next, we will hear an opening speech from our Head of Department of Management, Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Indonesia, Mr. Arif Wibisono Lubis. Mr. Arif, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Denita, as the moderator of this session. Good morning. A special good morning to Dr. Evan Lau, our speakers for today's workshop. Good morning, Dr. Zafri Ananto Husodo, the editor-in-chief of Indonesia Capital Market Review. Dr. Dwi Nasinti Danarsari as the moderator of this today's session, and as well as the vice chief editor of Indonesia Capital Market Review. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, all participants of this morning's workshop. Please allow me to speak on behalf of the Department of Management, FEB-UI. Department of Management, FEB-UI has a vision to becoming a center of excellence with international standard in teaching and research in the field of business and management. Of course, in achieving this vision, it's not an easy task, and therefore, in the past years, we from the Department of Management have launched several initiatives to achieve this vision. These initiatives, of course, do not only come from the department themselves, but also come from the different level of the organizations of Universitas Indonesia. The university, for example, has launched several different grant schemes to support publications by lecturers, by faculty members, as well as by students. And I believe that some of you are faculty members and also students of Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Indonesia. So you might have been participated in these grants as well. And then in the recent years, we can see a more targeted effort. So we can see that there are some grants that are specifically targeted for high quality publication. And by high quality, usually we measure it by the CIMAGO ranked Scopus Index journals. At the department level, at the Department of Management level, we have tried to support faculty members as well in publications through various workshops and trainings. For example, through several workshops by the Management Research Center, Department of Management, Faculty of Economics and Business. And these workshops discuss different topics ranging from data processing and also to publication tips. The success of these efforts, of course, can be seen from several indicators. So I can give you some idea of how the achievement of this vision by today or by recent data. In terms of publication at the faculty level, the proportion of publications in peer-reviewed journal has increased from 69% in academic year 2016-2017 to now the recent academic year 2019-2020, we have reached 77% publications in PRJ. So this is a percentage based on articles in peer-reviewed journals compared to total publications that we have, including intellectual contributions in conference proceedings and also professional standards. If we see in terms of quality, so if we break down the number in terms of quality, we can see that the proportion of publication in Scopus Index CIMAGO ranked journals increased from only to, well, not only actually, it's already a good achievement. In 2018-2019, we have 306 publications indexed by Scopus. And then in the recent academic year, 2019-2020, the Faculty of Economics and Business have achieved 355 publications indexed by peer-reviewed journals indexed by Scopus. And I'm very happy to inform you that the Department of Management contributed to the highest number of articles in peer-reviewed journals in the recent academic year, which is 210. If we break down the numbers based on topics, so we know that in the Department of Management, there are some faculty members that focus more on finance, some more focused on marketing, and some might be more focused in human resources and organizations, and also other fields. We can see that actually publications in finance dominate the whole publication in the Department of Management. So if I can give you the number, so it's 38% of the total publication. So this is all publications, both including the non-Scopus index and also the Scopus index. But if we only consider the Scopus index publication, the contribution of finance is 37%. So it's not very different from the total publications. Furthermore, if we compare the total Scopus index publication by faculty members in the Department of Management, so this is the number based on publications in finance in Scopus index journals compared to the total publications in Scopus index journals, the number is also 36% or 37%. So we can see that actually there's a room for improvement in terms of quality because as I mentioned in the beginning that one of the indicators of the quality of publication is whether the articles are published in a Scopus index journals or not. So we can see that there's a room for improvement because we aim for increasing the proportion of Scopus index, the proportion of articles published in Scopus index journals. And therefore, it is really important to have this kind of workshop because the aim of this workshop is to increase the quality of publications, particularly publications in the field of finance. We really appreciate, of course, the effort by the Indonesia Capital Market Review to conduct this workshop because once again, it is very aligned with the achievement of the vision of the Department of Management in particular, as well as the vision of Universitas Indonesia in general. We, of course, once again would like to thank Dr. Evan Lau, who has a very distinguished track record in terms of publications in finance. And we are also very lucky to have Dr. Lau as a speaker for today because Dr. Lau, if we all already, as we all already know, can speak both from the perspective of researchers, so from authors, as well as from the perspective of editor, because we can maybe gain some insights about what kind of quality of what kind of features that editors from very reputable journals look from our articles. So once again, I hope that all of the participants of today's workshop can take the most benefit of the event. And for that, thank you very much for your attendance in this event. And I hope that all of you can take the most benefit. I give the floor, thank you very much, to Ms. Denita as the MC of this session. Thank you.
Okay. This webinar, the throughout session will be moderated by Dr. Dwinastiti Danasari, as Vice Editor of Indonesian Capital Market Review. So please welcome Mrs. Dwi Nastidalasari. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Denita. Okay, good morning, all participants. Thank you for attending this webinar. Yeah, good morning also, Mr. Evan Lau. Thank you very much as the speakers of the seminars. As already introduced by Denita, our MC, our speaker, Dr. Evan Lau Pohok, is Associate Professor and Managing Editor for International Journal of Business and Society IJBS in Faculty of Economics and Business University Malaysia Sarawak Unimas. He graduated from University Putra Malaysia for the bachelor degree, master degree, and doctoral degree. As today, his journal articles publications stand at 94 and he has 90 research papers published as chapters in books, conference proceedings, working papers, newsletters, and newspaper articles. His excellence in research has brought him several award winnings, includes Young Researchers Awards in Unimas, Excellent Service Award, research medals from Research Expos, Best Papers, and Highest Impact Journal Paper Award. Our today's workshop consists of 2 sessions with a short break in between. In first session, Dr. Evan Lau will present and share about the recent topics of in finance and banking and how to write a good introduction and literature reviews for scholarly journals. After the presentations, the participants may have Q&A sessions and discussions. You can write your questions in chat columns. For those who join in YouTube, may also write the questions through the chat columns and we will read your questions after the presentations. After the first sessions, we will have short 10 minutes break. Please, all participants, not to leave these virtual meeting rooms. After the break, we will have second sessions, which discuss the research methodology sessions, how to write research results, how to respond to reviewers, discussion about publication opportunities, and tips and tricks to get the article published. And also we will have Q&A sessions after the presentations. So all participants, we will hear the presentations from Dr. Evan Lau. Dr. Evan Lau, the floor is yours. Dr. Evan, would you like to present by yourself or would like the committee to display the presentations?
I can do it myself, no problem.
Oh, great, thanks.
I think it's better that way. All right, again, very good morning to all of you, and thank you for organizing, especially to the Indonesian Capital Market Review and Ibu Dwi here for organizing this important workshop or webinar. Although we are far away, but research and technology connect us in the sense that we have this kind of session this morning. And thank you very much for the MC just now, Denita, and also thank you very much for the head of department who give the highlights for the publication, especially the achievement for the department. I think I would say congratulations to the Department of Management, especially on the achievement, especially on the numbers of publications in Scopus Index Journal for the year. And surely this will continue on with all this and with all the effort and collaboration in research and so on. Right. So before I start, again, I would like to say that before I share my screen here, I would like to say that what I'm going to share this morning is just what I've experienced for the past, especially for the past 15 years. I've been in this particular academia field after I graduated from my PhD. So these are part of the experience, and not the best experience, but it's an experience that that I think will be hopefully to be beneficial for all the for the participants to move forward and then to grow much more better than myself, right? So I share my screen here. Let me find some. Yeah. Right. I think I have this. I hope you can see this part. So I'll start with this thing first, and then I'll go into some as been mentioned by the moderator just now. I'll share something on the potential topics, especially in finance and banking, or potential topic in general, especially related to our field. I'm also from the Faculty of Economics and Business, and again I just not forget to thank Ibu Dwi for the very generous introduction about myself. I'm today, this morning, I'm here in the office. No one in the office actually, and on Saturday, especially in this pandemic time, I think I choose to be in office because at home there will be some disturbance from the kids. So better I come to the office, right? So again, back to the topic here. Topic and journals in finance and banking that. Most of you already know that, and I'm pretty sure, and some of the journals or the things that you might be able to target, and some topics in mind that are recent topic especially, right? One of the tips, or one of the tips that I will give first is that if you want to look for, all of you can see the slide, right? Can you see the slides here?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, you can see.
Right. Okay. Right. I've given the slides to the organizer in PDF format. If you want the PowerPoint format, no problem. Also, I can give later. I also share some article actually. So some of the topics. One of the first tips is that you want to publish in certain journals, especially like this. This in finance. If it's in finance, this is #1 journal. The journal, the most #1 journal in finance. Anyone in finance, or although we are very much a department of management, but as related to the topic itself, what we discussed this morning, journal of finance is something that we look forward to if you want to really publish in the top finance journal, the top 4 finance journal. One is Journal of Finance. It's #1, always #1 here. So look at this. This is very interesting. For me, this is very interesting. I searched this a few days ago, and I found that there is a call for paper for conference, right? For the conference on financial consequences on COVID-19. So one of the most hottest topic for the past few months, and will be continue on. I'm pretty sure will be continuing for the next 2-3 years, will be certainly on COVID-19. So if certainly joining here with me this morning, if you are from postgraduate students, some of the topics that you might interested in is to put this this pandemic maybe inside your model, or inside your research and so on, to make it, to link to that part, right? But anyhow, so that's the second tip. The first tip just now, look for call for papers, especially in this top big journal, in finance, in economics, in management, in marketing, and all the field related in Faculty of Economics and Business. So look for the call for paper, because most of the time they have call for papers. Like this one is for the conference, or maybe for COVID-19 related issue. So this one, interesting. It says it's still in time to submit. 10 days from now, right? Manuscript to be submitted not later than September 15. You can try. No problem. As by with another top university in the world, where they produce a lot of Nobel Prize laureates, Nobel Prize winners. So pretty much that this one is a very good opportunity that I can start off with, right? So tell me what Ibu Dwi, tell me if I have exit time and so on, so that I will not disturb your program, right? So look at this one. This is very good for you to penetrate if you have papers related to finance and COVID-19 pandemic. All right. The other one that we can look into, this is one of the journal, one of the top journal. This is not the top 4 actually, according to my friends in, especially when I search around in finance. This is actually the second tier. If Journal of Finance is A+, this will be the A journal in finance. It's Journal of Banking and Finance, right? There's numbers of Malaysian actually. There's numbers of Malaysian do publish in this journal, and this is one again. Although it's already over, this already published in Journal of Banking and Finance, or JBF in short they call it. Challenges in global financial stability, interconnection, credit risk, business cycle, the role of market participants. So this is still in the year 2020, although we are in the pandemic era. But these are the things, these are the few topics that can go for next few years, because it published in the top journal. As I told you, the first step just now, look for the call for papers. Second, join the conference maybe. Third one is that when you look for the call for papers, then you look at what they have been discussed in the journal, and you are with that particular thing, you are up to their literature, you are up to their at least what they have discussed in this big journal, right? And then you bring forward back to our own, especially maybe those papers will be published in Indonesia Capital Market Review, right? So these are the topic that can have in mind if you're in finance, especially finance and related to banking, credit, business cycle, financial stability, interconnectedness, and these are still being talked about. And this another interesting call for paper also from JBF just now. JBF. You see, there's an topic on COVID-19 again, right? The way forward for banks during COVID-19 crisis and beyond. Government and central bank response and the threat of global banking industry. This is interesting. You can look at the Indonesian perspective, right? I give you some example. You can look at Indonesian perspective of how the government, how the central bank respond during this period of time, right? Although this period of time have not over yet, but I'm sure the government, the central bank have do something, maybe reduce the interest rate, increase the spending, cut off this thing, cut off that thing to ensure that the economy are still moving and so on. So what's the other response? So submission deadline still in time, October next month. Right? Again, this one is for high quality papers. It stays here, and again the conference it written there. This is part from the conference, but then they call for submission. I'm sure they'll be very interested in the study on ASEAN itself, or in particular country, maybe like Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand response, Vietnam response, and so on and so on. So this is another interesting thing that you can look into. After the global financial crisis, this is the crisis that we're in now, the COVID-19 crisis, where all the countries are involved in now. What part of things that have been put forward by the government, the stimulus package, and all the other things. So this is one that I can look into, that you can look into also, right? The next one here, the next one here also, this one also from journal, from JBF. They have a lot of special issue. Just look at it. Just look at the call for papers. The call for papers. They have another one, special issue, the impact of global pandemic on financial market and institution. This is more general. Financial market, institution. Just now is on government response, central bank response. This is on financial market. So it can be stock market, it can be bond market, it can be all the others related to finance very much, impact on the securities, on derivative, financial intermediary, on the financial system itself. How will be the impact, right? The specific topic has been mentioned down here, talks about maybe market liquidity and all the, you can have a look of this is more specific just now on the specific topic that they targeted: market liquidity, incorporation, high frequency analysis, stocks. You know, high frequency means that maybe they have daily or more high than daily, how behavioral the firms, and then and all the others, asset management. Oh, this is interesting topic that some of you might want to have a look. But this is all about the call for papers. But then again, although this is for the call for papers for this journal, these are the topics that will be linger around for the next few years, right? For the next few years, which we or all of us here in this particular room right now can have a look of what we're going to do, research for the next few years. If that's your channel, yes, maybe your specialization not necessary in finance, but some of your friends, or we can have some collaboration with other your other colleagues or outside from the university. This will be interesting to explore. And also for the journal itself, for the Indonesian Capital Market Review, these are some of the targets or some of the things that the journal might be able to attract to, right? Maybe you want to do some special the editor, right? So, and then this is another topic, interesting topic, not so new, but people still talk about it until today. Green finance, ethical finance, right? Green finance, ethical finance is another interesting thing. This I found it, this call for paper, and this is not a new thing. This has been around for at least a few years back when talks about it. And here is also another call for papers for special issue, green and ethical finance, right? It's interesting, although the full paper is already over, but this is some topic that you can look into in very much near future. The researchers, especially these big researchers, they still these top researchers, they still talk about the topic that we go forward is about, rather than just sustainability, green. We talk about also in finance, it's also green finance, right? So that's an interesting thing to explore. Ethical finance too, whether it's ethical, not just the focus on the CSR, but move beyond CSR into put the idea ethics into finance, and some green sustainability concept or sustainable development growth concept into finance. It'll be interesting to look forward into that kind of issue, especially it's been highlighted here in the call for papers. Talks about climate change, talks about environmental, talks about social and governance. How would finance, especially the field of finance and banking, could contribute, right? One of the finance will be one big chunk in the finance today that also related to this topic or related to social, social issues, environmental. It talks about Islamic finance and all these environmental, social, governance issue. Islamic finance very much near also here with our country here in Malaysia and in Indonesia. Especially here in Malaysia, we have a center for Islamic finance, right? The INCF here, and certainly Indonesia, maybe some of you also involved in that kind of research. But move forward, that will be interesting to explore too, on something on green finance. As I mentioned, this is also a call for paper, right? It's a call for paper, and this name is not, I'm sure this name is not, it's not alien to us. Professor Kabe Hassan, which he's also editor for one of the journal. And this is a call for paper actually on a call for paper from that focus on Islamic economics and finance. So this is more general one. You can look at that. Still, deadline is not there yet, right? You can target for that, but this publication is for next year. Certainly not for this year anymore. This is for next year, right? You can have a look of this this journal, right? Or you want to have more idea, and then this call for paper, have a look of this. And Professor Kabe Hassan is very much always like to collaborate, and he actually did publish few papers with us, IJBS, and actually we have one special issue actually few years ago, also on this kind of also on Islamic economics and finance. We have a special issue in IJBS on Islamic economics and finance that edited by Professor Kabe Hassan. So he attracted numbers of authors into our journal. So this one way actually to attract, if I were to talk on the different tone, that to uplift your journal, you need this kind of thing actually, sometimes to have some special issues so that to attract some papers coming in, right? So this is from Prof. Kabe Hassan. I'm sure most of you knows the name, right? These are the topic. These are the topic that potential topic in Professor Kabe Hassan call for paper. This is very general one, which I'm sure most of you are involving in, including the more recent topic on the COVID-19 and Islamic finance, even on the economics of corruption in Muslim world, ethics, morality, informal institution. It's very interesting. It covers a lot of things here, right? It covers a lot of things that been updated by our Professor Kabe Hassan here, right? So next is a journal, GIMF, is Journal of International Money and Finance. Again, this journal is not the as top as Journal of Finance or Journal of Banking and Finance. This one is a bit lower than Journal of Banking and Finance. This will be, if just now I said Journal of Finance is A+, then Journal of Banking and Finance is Journal of Finance is A+. That one is A, this is A-, right? In that particular sense. But this is also very good journal. Deadline is still a special issue on conference, again, on financial globalization and deglobalization, perspective and prospect. This is a little bit different, not just necessarily focusing on finance and banking. This one look at much more bigger picture, where you have globalization there. The issue of globalization there and how deglobalization. This one is more interesting to look at for especially for the past 10 years, because some developed countries have mentioned that actually they are the champion of the globalization. They want everyone to open up the market since 1980 in the developed nation, and we developing countries have opened up our market as much as possible. And this links to another thing. And for the past at least 10 years after the global financial crisis, there's a rethink of whether globalization actually is a good way forward. Maybe we should go back, deglobalization, right? And with this pandemic, this issue become more interesting, right? How should we move forward after this, right? So again, this one another interesting issue of what we are that the call for papers, right? Although it's for the conference next year, this one will be interesting to send to and participate to if you have related papers, right? Again, these are the topics, but it says not necessarily limited to. It can go beyond that. Look at the topic. Look at the topic there which you can explore for the next few years, right? You see here, fragmentation of financial markets. Oh, this is very interesting. Fragmentation. If I would give example, in a big country like yours, like Indonesia, surely that you know that fragmentation exists between regions, between islands, so fragmentation in financial market. Although the financial market might be as overall as a country, but if we can look into more specific region by region, that will be a very interesting topic. But I'll talk more a little bit more later on this part. Then measurement, yeah, some of the interesting topic here, right? Digital currencies, wow, and a lot more. This one is actually a journal, a call for paper from the journal called Financial Innovation. They just have their first impact factor, means that they are not just corpus journal, they are impact factor journal. All the 3-4 journals that I mentioned earlier are all impact factors, surely, very high ranking journal. This one, COVID-19 Financial and Economic System. This is actually a call for paper from Financial Innovation, and the editor is actually Professor Parish Narayan, which I'm sure some of you knows his name also in Indonesia, because he's involved with the central bank journals of the Indonesia, which already is corpus now. I think the journal is already it's already corpus state. So this is a call for paper, and the guest editor is Professor Narayan from Australia. Yeah, Financial Innovation, a new journal. I just knew this journal a few months back, not because I published it. I have not published it yet, but they asked me to review paper. So oh, this is quite new. Then I look at the journal. It's a China-based journal, but very strong journal, especially right now. They look a lot of new issues on Bitcoin. They look a lot of issue on fintech. If you do on something on fintech, Bitcoins, you can try to look at that, at financial innovation again, right? So interesting. And just to share some topic with you. This one also along the way, I also share this. These are 2020 publication. This is one journal called International Review of Economic and Finance. This is also a good journal in Elsevier. Found this few days back. You see the topic there. They still talk about bank regulation efficiency. I will talk about this paper later, more detail, because this paper is very interesting. The outline, the introduction, and so on are very interesting, right? I'll talk more on that paper. This one also, bank regulation efficiency is not a new topic, but then it still can be done again and again, repeated here again. This one looks at 21 countries using GMM and so on. I will go more detail later. This one, another issue on, not new issue, oil and stock market, not a new issue, but the focus is on COVID-19. Some preliminary results, right? Again, published in International Review of Economic and Finance, right? And I think some, this one is, the author, some of you might know the name, Iftikhar Hassan, so famous in Indonesia, I'm sure. Found this one of his latest paper published in 2020 in Journal of Financial Economics. This is top journal. This is top journal. On democracy and credit. Interesting. If you read the abstract, does democratization reduce the cost of credit? So this highlights a lot of things. This attracts a lot of authors to read. See the topic, the title, straightforward, short, precise, democracy and credit. I'll talk on this paper also, Journal of Financial Economics, right? And this is also a good journal. I found that this, I know this journal. I reviewed for them before. Finance Research Later. It's a short paper. Normally they goes like this one, 7 page, 5 pages, 8 pages. Very short paper. I'll give some example. I have a lot of example of this. You see this topic. The topic is infected markets, novel coronavirus, government intervention, stock return volatility around the globe. Wow, this is attracting, right? The explore, policy response, novel coronavirus, 67 countries around the world, and the 67 countries, including our country, Malaysia and Indonesia. You want the full papers or you want to download it, you can go download. And I found that in this journal, Finance Research Later, they publish a lot of papers on COVID-19, on coronavirus, a lot recently, 2020, a lot. I can search more than 10 papers I was like very surprised. They already published more than 10 papers on related on finance, related on COVID-19. Another topic to explore. Right? This is a potential topic. I'll stop here. You want me to let me share one of my things. Let me share.
Your time 10 more minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I have another. This will be a. I will talk a little bit on just now. First one is on potential topic maybe. This one will be more on. How does a paper looks like. Especially, I will try to focus in these less than 10 minutes on introduction, right? On introduction, especially how to write a good introduction, how to attract people to read your paper, or especially the editors from that point of view, or point of view. Writing for reputable international journal. This is my. I will not go too much on. This is my infographic. Everyone can do this. Highlight your best thing. You want this soft copy also? I have it. If you scan this QR, you will get my university CV. But then again, this is what I've been doing for the past 15 years: citation, award, publications, and so on and so on and so on. Highlight what you have. Market yourself, as you are in Department of Management, especially. Market ourselves, right? Do this nice infographic for ourselves, so that we don't have to bring our CV, 20, 30 pages, 100 pages of CV, just one page everywhere we go, right? I've given this soft copy, but this one, maybe some of you, if you refer to the PDF, it looks a little bit different. Yeah, I just changed the format. The content are the same. I just changed it to be more presentable so that it looks better in the way, right? I just changed the format. These are the things that sometimes that you can share. The planning. Whatever we do, including publication, you must have a plan. What we need to do, like writing a proposal and so on. This is the common structure, but inside inside the file that I give you, or I give to the organizer, actually, I have a number there. But here I don't have numbers. Right? Here I don't have numbers. But then again, in any research method book, we always say start off with this one. Maybe follow this sequence: title, authors, abstract, and so on. But in the reality, some of us might do reverse engineering when writing a papers. Right now, so first thing, that if you want to search for some topic, just now I give you some example. And the second part is that read the literature first. Read the literature. Then second, only you write the introduction. Third, we go for empirical methodology, theory, data, and so on. And then after estimation, you have a result, you have a conclusion. The last one, then after that, abstract. And then the last one is the title. Don't think the title first, because the title will change until the end of the day, until you submit, right? So read first, look at the literature, search, Google the literature, and then from there onwards, Google is the one way. There's a lot of other ways, right? So certainly this is the process. I'm sure you know this better, right? I'll put this one maybe as one of the last parts, certainly, but I'll touch one part here first. I'll touch one part here, especially when you craft your research paper. I'll go one by one. I'll talk about the first one first. Solid, interesting, attractive introduction. Right? Then I'll move to the next slide. Yeah. In introduction, yeah, I put it much more nicer, these slides. Right? Ask yourself why your research is important. Explain why you need to perform this study, why you need to conduct the study. What's the rationale? What's the motivation? Shows the important problem or question exists. What's the problem now? Yeah, for example, now we have a COVID-19 issue. So that is the problem. That is the rationale. That shows the importance. How to solve this? How government solve this? So that creates the problem statement. That creates the problem. That creates the very interesting introduction. Right? State the objective clearly. Objective must be there. Doesn't matter whether you write a literature review article. Doesn't matter whether you write a conceptual article. There must be objective. What you want to go ahead. Research question, you can keep that for your thesis, for the dissertation. But inside the paper, this is how it looks like, right? If this is just, if you have a motivation is very important. That's why I move forward, right? You can start off the introduction with some influential studies, cite some potential review, cite the papers. You never know. These are the potential reviewers later. the journal editor sometimes will send to the one that you cited there. So make sure you cite, you know your literature. You cite the proper person. This one is not the literature review section. This one is just introduction. And provide some statistic, real world example, and so on. I will show some example later. Right? Do not have long introduction normally. About 2-3 pages, depending on the journal that you write. 2-3 pages is good enough. Don't write your introduction up to 5 pages. If the journal have 50 pages, okay. If the journal only have 15 pages, 2-3 pages of introduction is good. They'll be good enough. All right. If it's a latest short one, then introduction normally will be just half a page. Very concise, very precise, very short one, but very straight to the point, right? Maybe you want to talk about methodology a little bit on that, major findings. Some of the journal require that, some do not require that, right? Again, when you go back here for introduction, motivation. What's the motivation of writing the paper? Not what's the motivation of doing research. Discuss the motivation. Are you solving the problem? Are you contribute to the existing debate? New data set, new theoretical model, new testing, new modeling structure. What is new in your paper? Right? Provide evidence. Why is it interesting? Interesting, solid. Why should be it published? All right. So that is the part that the introduction part that is very interesting. All right. Again, if can, try to avoid this kind of word. Avoid the word says that this is the first study. My study is the first study. My study is the first in the world. My study is the first. No. Try to reduce that word. Right? If you want to put that as your novelty or contribution, put that as a last contribution. Right? Put that as a last contribution. And also put the contribution of limited study. Can be stated, but as a last motivation, as a last contribution. Right? Because of limited study, because the literature is so haywire, that's why I want to do the study. No, don't start off with like that. Start off with what is the issue, and then you go ahead with that, right? And avoid some negative thing, negative terms. Be polite, as I mentioned. Right? So some example of introduction, although this is literature review, I give, yeah. For example, here, I give this example. I give this paper as an example. Then I'll stop here. You do it. Right? Is it okay? I think it's about.
Fine. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. I just explain this a little bit and I'll stop here. So this journal, this paper is nothing to do with finance, but or economics, but it's an interesting paper to read through as anyone. I highlight this paper. It's not my paper. It's a paper by my friends here in Malaysia and in New Zealand and in UK. The paper is published in Tourism Management, one of the top journal, also in tourism especially. Talks about ethnic food consumption. Why I highlight this thing? Because we have similarities here in Malaysia and Indonesia, right? We have a lot of ethnic in our country, especially in Indonesia. Whew. There's so much of the different ethnic groups, which we can do a lot of research. And And what is this interesting paper about? Why it can be published in this top journal is because one is about ethnic food consumption. The second one is about tourism. The third point that they sell is about the methodology that they use. So few things they sell and it works. It works. And then they have diversity of authors. It works. So these are the few highlights sometimes. You can have a look when you want to publish your paper. And look more carefully into the introduction. I highlight the introduction, right? Background, you write. The first sentence there, ethnic food has become widely popular attraction for tourists to visit particular destination. Strong statement. Strong, short, precise, straight to the point. It says ethnic food have becoming an attraction for tourists to go to visit to one destination. Yes, it's true. Right? And this paper actually focus on Dayak food. Dayak, we have Dayak ethnic in Indonesia and in Malaysia. But this one is on Malaysia perspective. So, and so on and so on, and the rest of it. So this attract the editors to publish the papers. Right? I don't want to go to the literature review, but this one I highlight to you. You want the full paper? I can always give you. This one published in 2019, right? About Dayak food consumption for tourists in Sarawak. The study is about Sarawak. Sarawak, because Sarawak here in my place where I come from, we have Dayak is one of the biggest group ethnic in Sarawak here, right? So, right, I'll stop here. Ibu Dwi, you can if those of you who have question or anything, you can let me know, or we can have some discussion. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Evan. It's very interesting presentations. We have questions from Ibu Viverita. Yeah, from Ibu Viverita. She asks, in the introduction section, do we have to cite specific authors that publish in our target journals? Or we also need to cite published article by the reviewers of our target journals?
If I were to, this one I would say that it depends, but if you're targeting a journal, let's say just now maybe you're targeting for example just now tourism management or any of the journal. If you target a journal, yes, it might be a good strategy. It might be a good strategy to cite papers from that particular target journal. Right? It might be a good way. First. The second one is that you also, as I mentioned just now, you also can cite some papers that might be the potential reviewers for your paper. Some potential one, but make sure the one that you cited, the potential reviewers, is the relevant papers. Relevant papers means that the one who do almost or very similar to what you are doing. Same thing goes to the target journal. Let's say you're the target journal A, and you do something on A, related to A. So certainly you will need to cite some of the papers from this particular target journal. Some, not all. Do not overwhelm. Do not put too much in the reference, all from the same journal. You must have diversity also in that reference, right? So yes, it can go that way, but it depends on yourself, not necessarily it might every time. Okay, thank you very much. Have any more questions?
Any more questions? Any more questions?
You can ask through this chat also.
You can, you can ask through the chat, or you can ask directly.
Yes.
Any questions?
Any? Anyone have question, or you want to have some other thing?
Evan, Zafri,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pak Zafri.
Yeah, that's right.
in your experience, how hard to sell Malaysian perspective to international journal, especially in finance?
You mean Malaysian studies, right?
Yes, because I always have the experience of comments from reviewer that the Indonesian studies, especially in finance, is not really matter for the overall contribution in specific fields, especially in finance.
Yeah. This one, Zafri, or the rest. I mean, and the rest of those who are listening this morning. This one is very, how to say that? This one is very specific also. I would say that this one are very specific to very specific journal, very certain specific journal, especially outside there. International journal. Or it can be very specific to very certain editors only, certain editors only. But if I were to respond, this is that they should not just limit themselves. Yes, certain journal outside there, although they say, although they are international journal, although they are top journal, although they are internationally recognized journal, maybe their impact factor and so on. But then again, if you see their papers are mostly published, those papers from developed countries. They don't really publish papers from developing countries. That's the reality, Jafri. We cannot deny. Some journals are like that. Some editors are like that. Not to say we try to avoid that, but you certainly can rechannel a little bit, and then look especially at the aim and focus of the journal, the aim of the journal. If the aim of the journal says that they only publish papers from America, let's say that is their objective of the journal. We only publish paper from Europe. Okay, then I have nothing to say. In my papers from Indonesia, my paper from Malaysia, surely you will not publish because you will not even consider, because that's not the objective of the journal. But if it's not written there, the aim and the scope in the journal is not written, says that we welcome all papers in finance or papers in this one, in this particular field, and then they should not discriminate us. They should not discriminate papers from Malaysia, from Indonesia, from all parts of the world, right? Not just certainly, for certain geographical case. So from based on my experience, yes, it happens. Also, not only in finance, in economics, in any particular field, the same thing. Or they look at the authors sometimes, or authors from ASEAN. This one, they might straight reject. So that's still there. There's still that kind of perception. So sometimes we can play a strategy. You can play a strategy a little bit to ensure that we can penetrate in this kind of maybe big journal. Yes, it can be an Indonesian case, Indonesian experience, or Indonesian one country kind of study. But then again, maybe in terms of authors, maybe you can play a little bit of strategy, like sometimes I do that also. I invite some of my friends from European side, and then put them as a co-author, ask them to look at the paper, maybe comments a little bit and improve it, and then send to some journals in the European side or the US side. Well, maybe when the editor sees that, oh, there's a diversity, maybe we can tag the paper. Like I told just now, in the example that I give you on the ethnic food consumption just now, there's a diversity of authors, not only from Malaysia, but from outside Malaysia, from New Zealand, from China. One of the authors actually from China, and from UK. So they play that kind of thing to penetrate. Although the issue is actually Dayak food consumption in Sarawak. So it's a very small local issue, but we try to bring forward to international level. Zafri. This is one strategy, but It might not works every time, but it can work in some times so to penetrate, right? But thank you for that very important question.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Evan.
Yes,
Thanks,
yes.
Eva. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have more questions here from Ibu Ida Rumondang, Sipahutar. The question is, in introduction, you said we should avoid some statements and avoid negative terms, but sometimes I read those things are written in other way. What's your comments about this?
Ibu Ida, maybe I can get some clarification. When you say that sometimes I read those are written in other way, in other way means that it's written and you know it's negative, or it's actually written in a much more subtle way, in much more yang lebih if I use bahasa Malaysia, yang lebih lembut, ditulis lebih lembut ya. Ataupun written in much more better way. Is that what you mean, Ibu Ida? Okay, right. So that's the way, Ibu. I mean Ibu Ida. That's the way in research. Yes, we can always say that this study is contradict with this study. This study says like that. This study says otherwise, and this study, these authors might not agree with this, might not agree. But we use a choice of sentence that are not demeaning people, are not downgrading people. A choice of word. It can be a negative things, but you write it as if it's a positive thing. You know, maybe this is, for example, in the literature, especially, or sometime in the introduction, and people say this is what happened, right? I give you an example just now. The process of globalization have been go forward since 1980s. The developing side, we are going. We are already in globalization. Every countries are connected with each other because they say we cannot stay in isolation. So every economy, every stocks, every finance, every businesses are globalized in that sense. Especially right now in the information technology with IT, everything are globalized. Everything are fast and globalized. Right? True. But then again, there's a maybe negative impact out of it. Maybe we bring forward to maybe some social issues, some other issues, you know. So this one looks like negative, but we talk about as if that globalization is still there, but now countries or now researchers or now policymakers are talk about maybe we should slow down the globalization in a way. So slow down the pace of globalization so that we slow down this kind of issue and so on, this negative issue. So we can talk in that way, in much more subtle way, so that it doesn't look so negative, says that you are wrong, your research is wrong, your research, you should not say that in the research paper. That's what I'm trying to say, right? So Ibu Ida, can you get that? Thank you very much. Yeah, there's two more questions. Wow, good.
Next question from Pak Usman. The infected market manuscript in finance research letter employs 67 countries globally and covers granularity of each countries. The question is, how do we sell our manuscript if we only employ 8 countries or less? Do you have any suggestion to convincing the editor that less sample is enough?
This one, let me find the paper just now. Oh, I have numbers of papers here. Let me find the papers. Hopefully I click the right one. Just bear with me for a while. I already stopped sharing. But while saying that, the paper that I showed you just now shows about 67 respond or countries, right? One thing you have to know in mind is that not necessarily when you have a lot of countries inside your research or geographical place or region or something like that, you'll be able to publish the paper. Not necessary. Sometimes even with just one country, you can publish it in a very good journal. So not necessarily, it's all depending on, right? It all depending on how you write the paper, how you sell your idea. That is more important. It's not about the country's matters, right? Certainly, maybe some authors always like to play around with their countries, with their methodology, but this is not always true. I don't believe that. But Usman, is it from your question? So if you have 8 countries and that 8 particular country have a very interesting research problem and the issues that you try to solve, and it's very significant, that's the most important thing. Are they interesting? Are they interesting to sell? So if that is interesting to sell, then I'm sure that there's no way that the journal would be rejecting you just because you apply not enough countries inside there. All right. Yeah, I'm still finding the paper. Which one? Yeah, I'm still finding the papers. I cannot find it. I say I cannot find the papers. But anyhow, I can always share with you the papers later. Along the way that it seems like I cannot find the paper right now. So, but anyway, thank you very much for the question. It doesn't matter what do you have or what countries actually. This one I share with you this one. Let me share with you one article. Although it's not the paper just now. It's not the paper. Sorry for doing this. I hope you can see. I hope everyone can see this. Yeah, my name is there. I'm market the paper, and it's very related to finance. So I market. I market this paper for all of you. This has just been accepted last month, August. It's a teamwork by my colleague Renda. Renda is also your fellow Indonesian. The second author there is a student, PhD student, and my name is there to help to contribute also in that sense. So this one is a case study of one country, Indonesia, only one country. Right? If you can see this, the research examined the effect of corporate reputation on firm risks in developing countries for the sample of 256 Indonesian firms for the period of this one. So we use panel, 256 firms, the time period about 6 years, use GMM. And it published in one journal called International Journal of Finance and Economics. It's impact factor journal by Wiley. I think should be, forget the impact factor, should be 0.9 or something. Not very high, but it's not a very top ranking journal, but then again, it's good journal, international journal, right? This is one of the paper that I also share along the way of talking about how to write a good, maybe introduction, methodology, and so on and so on. So this is one country. If you have 8 countries, surely you can sell it better. Right? I have a lot more other examples, but this is just one example that I have now. Right? I could not find the 67 one. Don't know where I put in my file. Right? So, but thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for the question.
I think
Next
one. Usman. Next questions, it's from Pak Devri Kusuma. Pak Devri Kusuma. He asks, his question is the objective of the paper only 1 or 2 objectives sufficient to make it precise, or can be more than 3 objectives? What do you think? Objective.
This is about objective. All right. Yeah, just now.
Only 1 or 2 objective, or can be more than 3 objectives.
Okay, I will answer this. First, again, just now back to the question just now. Is from Arif. From Pak Arif Usman. Thank you very much to attending this one. You are my friend in Facebook also. Anyhow, you sent me the link also. Talking about objective, Pak Defri, Kusuma. If you ask me personally, in a paper, normally, if I write the paper of with my group of friends who write the paper, normally in a paper I only have one objective, or maybe the most two objectives to answer. Maybe your first is maybe to look at this issue. The second that looks to another issue that related to the first issue. Do not confuse. I'm not sure whether I'm on the right path, but I want to give this to all of you, is that do not be confused objective and hypothesis. Do not be confused with objective and hypothesis or research question or whichever related to that, although we don't write research question inside the paper, right? Objective is objective. Hypothesis is hypothesis. Hypothesis can be generated more or hypotheses are generated more from one objective. I mean, one objective can have 3, 4 hypotheses or something like that. But objective can stand as one. Stand alone, one paper, one objective. It's okay. But hypothesis will be more than that. Because you want to look at this, you want to look at that, but also all related to that particular objective. Right? Do not be confused on that part. Do not put too much objective. 3 objective. You're not writing a thesis. Writing a thesis, yes, you have 3 objective, 4 objective, no problem. Paper, keep it maximum up to 2 objective. Maybe first you want to do this. Secondly, I want to look at this issue. That's it. Enough. For example, maybe first you want to construct. You want to construct some index, maybe some risk index, financial index. And then the second one, you have to estimate the index that you constructed and to see the forecast stability. 2 objective, enough. That will be very good paper to construct and to forecast. Right? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. One questions from Luciana. Ibu Luciana, Luciana Indra. Good morning, Dr. Lau. Why we should avoid using direct statements, whether there will be negative views from the readers? As I read in a Journal of Financial Economics, he clearly said in his introduction, I'm the first to study this outside US.
Ibu Luciana, yes. There's numbers of authors actually says that there's numbers of authors. We cannot stop that. I mean, it's just what I feel. It's just from my experience. I also even write that statement sometimes in some of my papers. If you look at whether it's negative view, I mean negative view for what I'm saying just now is that negative view is the one that you should avoid, especially negative view. Negative view in the sense that you should not demean some people. You should not downgrade the people saying that your study is wrong, my study is right, or this study is wrong. Use a more subtle wording. That part, the negative part. And certainly, I'm sure that you read through a lot more. I also read that too, even in not just financial economics, in general finance too. He might say that the first study this outside US, no problem. If you can really sure that you are the first, then, and you can boldly say that you are the first, you are confidently says that you are the first, then go ahead. By all means, no problem. It's just that we always look at the much more safer side. What the safer side when saying that we try to be safe, especially when editors look at your paper, try not to mention that word, because for certain editors, very certain editors, when they look at this word, they will think that the authors are arrogant. This is judgment. The second part is that, wow, you really put that statement. You are the first one. Let me Google. The editors might straight away Google your topic, put in Google, if there is some hit and come out something, and that hit something out, and you do not cite that paper, the editor might straight away reject your paper. So do not take that risk. Why take that risk? If you're confident, by all means, go ahead. But if you're not, I'm talking about on the safe side. Do not practice that. If you're confident, go ahead. Right? Thank you very much, Ibu Luciana, for the question.
Yeah. Okay, let me check whether any questions. Okay, no more question. Evan, the participants already sent the draft. Maybe some you already read some of it. Do you have any comments about draft sent to you? Draft of the participant?
Yeah, I have actually. You want me to show it here or how?
Yes, please. Maybe you can put comments on one or two drafts sent by the participant regarding the introduction session, maybe.
All right. I will try to share my screen again. Okay. I actually have just before starting this morning, I email you actually the 4 papers. I've actually emailed you back the 4 papers with comments inside there. But anyhow, I can discuss some of it here. Let me. It's still opening. Sorry, a bit slow. All right. Can you see this, Ibu Dwi?
Yeah.
Okay. This one. Let me. I don't think I will use that view. Okay. Let me just make it a bit bigger for benefit. Sorry for that. So a little bit slow my laptop today. Maybe too much apps opening at the same time. Oh man, it's not good. I should just put like this. You see, I put the comments like this. Hopefully the authors will look at that. This paper is I put overall as a general, not just in the introduction. This one is about competition in microfinance institution. Interesting to explore. Something on microfinance still be a topic that could be explored. But one thing that if you want to write topic on especially on what is this on literature review, something that you should have in mind is that make sure that your title itself is very interesting, right? So you want to talk about microfinance and competition. So my suggestion is that my general suggestion is that you can explore more on this part. The authors can explore more on this part on something called SLR, systematic literature review, or use some meta-analysis. Read more on the literature, certainly. Improve the write-up. I'll talk more specific on that. I'll go to the introduction in a while. Look at some example of SLR. What is SLR? Systematic literature review. Bibliometrics analysis. A lot in the literature now. Very, very good one in the literature. Or some do meta-analysis. Right? This one just my suggestion. And when you look into the introduction, this is how I feel. This is how I feel. When you look into introduction, you talk about the background, very general background, and talk about what is microfinance and how to sustain it, and so on and so on. And then after that, straight away, we say numerous research shows that empirical evidence shows that how how the emerge of competition is still debatable. There's a proof that the existence of competition induces efficiency while motivating firms to provide more products and reduce the price of borrowers. This one, you cited papers from 1989. There's a possibility that it might happen in microfinance industry, nevertheless, and so on, competition. So you try to link microfinance and competition. When I read this introduction, first thing, as I mentioned just now, even in the literature review or literature review article, there should be an objective. Well, what's the objective of the study? What you want to do, actually. Even you say you want to review the literature for the past 20 years, for the past 30 years. So that is your objective. What's the focus of the research? It's not there. It's not even there. The introduction is not motivating me to read more. Right? It doesn't motivating me to read more. If you want to start off with background of microfinance and then straight away to what's the issue that you want to highlight, competition. If you want to highlight competition, make sure you highlight competition and microfinance, because from the reading here, it's still not there yet. The objective is not there too, right? This is what I would be able to say for time being for this topic, and the rest of it is actually just a very brief thing about like this, the next topic, MFI, competition, and so on and so on. This not really a literature review. When I read this, the whole paper, I don't see this as a literature review article. This is how I feel. I might be wrong. Right? This is how my personal feel. Right? So I think stop there for a while. Would we? I think that's from my general view of the paper. Right? Is that okay?
Okay. So how's the examples of good literature reviews, Evan?
The good literature review article, good literature review article. There's a lot of good literature review article. If it's I mean those in the those a lot of big journal actually publish good literature review. For example, I'll stop this thing first. Let me share some of what I have. This recently that I look at some of the, oh, not this one. Not this one. Not this one. Sorry. Let me check some papers. Just a bit slow, but let me check some papers. I hope this is yeah, well example like this, although this is related to health, it doesn't matter. But look at how it is written. So for example, if you want to write a literature review article which is publishable now, some editors, I attended one session with some editors from energy journal, applied energy, a journal called energy, and biomass. These are few top editors in Elsevier. They say that just a few days ago, I attended the session, a webinar. They say that literature review article will gain more citation, which is important for us as academician. I'm also writing up a few literature review articles, hopefully to get published. But literature review article is also important right now, rather than just a research paper. Literature review article also looks at what is new in the literature and what is current and so on. So it's an important debate in the literature. So this one, if you look at that, the topic is a bibliometric analysis of peer-reviewed literature of transgender health, 1900 to 2017. So specific. very specific. So if you look at the just now microfinance and competition, is not specific. So what are you looking at? Are you looking at developing countries? Are you looking at overall? Are you looking at everything? If I were the author, I'll focus on microfinance in developing countries. Microfinance might be in certain years and so on, and then you analyze it. How to analyze? There's a lot of way of analysis. This one I will go straight. You see, they have a method. They analyze that as if like we analyze our data. Like that is a data. So you can search the paper from Scopus, Web of Science, and so on and so on, and then you extract them up, and then you these are some of the keywords they use to extract the papers, and then mapping, and then the results. They have results like this. For example, they can plot up from 1 year to 1 year how many microfinance articles have been published. Numbers, statistic. Journal editors would like to see that, right? Rather than just discuss a boring way to discuss literature review, paragraph by paragraph. No one will read it. No journal will accept your paper. Right? This one, top cited. You mentioned top cited paper on this topic. Top cited in microfinance. What journal published it? Right? Most active. And this is the most interesting part. I'm learning this thing too. I'm looking at this thing right now too in literature review article. You can analyze our literature review using this software called VOS Viewer. VOS Viewer. I'm exploring this software also. Two, this is interesting. The bigger the bubble, the more papers are on it, the more important. Right? And the connection shows that how it been connected. Put in the papers to show that the connection, to show that the publication, to show a lot of things. Right? This one just example. And countries, geographical distribution of peer-reviewed documents. Another important thing. And then you discuss it. So analysis, bibliometrics analysis, and top 10 authors in the field. It's all analysis. You need to do this. You want to do this in microfinance, do like this example. There's a lot more other example. I have this one example here inside my desktop here, luckily. Right. This one again, very much close to your department, in Journal of International Consumer Marketing. 20 years of research in brand globalness and localness, a systematic review, literature review, and future research agenda. Okay? Published by one of my friends, Kasif Muhammad Kasif from in the Sri Lanka University. From Pakistan, but he's in Sri Lanka right now. So talks about that, talks about literature review, right? Talks about this kind of topic, branding, right? Interesting. They search about the authors. They use ABDC ranked journal, 32 articles, and they talk about these 32. So it's very specific. Just now, in the microfinance and competition one, that paper is not specific. How many papers actually have you reviewed? And so on. What database that is being used? It must be scientific in that way, right? And I show you one how they do. This is different from the first paper just now. This one, look at this is the journal, the table. For example, like this list of the journal that publish such a work and the authors. This is one way, right? And then key components, maybe, for example, you highlight the components out. This writing, same thing when we ask, especially our students in S2, S3, we ask our students to write like this kind of summary of table. You can put it up in the paper if that is possible, right? And they'll be good for literature review article, okay? I think I give some good guideline there already for that part. Right? Maybe there's more question, I think, in the chat room.
Yeah, we have. Okay, but okay, let me check the time also. Maybe you can answer this at the next sessions. We have questions from Ibu Ida again. Can you explain more about SLR, Systematic Literature Review? And from Ibu Viverita, how can we write an interesting title when we should put the scope of the sample countries? Two more questions, and then last question from Pak Usman. Please answer the two questions from Bu Ida and Bu Viverita first.
Okay. Yes, I will answer this thing first. Can I explain more on SLR? SLR just now I just show you. That's one example of SLR, Systematic Literature Review. You can easily Google that and find that a lot of researchers right now are turning a little bit. Yeah, we are specialized in our particular field, finance, economics, or financial market, institution, banking, so on. We're now turning a little bit into literature review, because we want to look at the debates in the literature review. And as I told you just now, the editors of some energies journal, it says that it's good to write literature review article. It sells more citation. People will cite, people will read what is new in the literature. So let's say systematic in that sense, you do it systematically. That's the meaning here. You do it systematically, and then you have a particular years. You target 20 years maybe. You look at 20 years. Papers from the year 2000, tahun 2000, sampai publication until 2020. You look at that particular literature only. And then that's one. That's one of rule of systematic. The second rule, as what I know, again, based on my experience, is that you must do it systematically, and you must have analysis inside there, not just presenting first paragraph this author, second paragraph the other author, third paragraph this author. No, you must do more than that. You can put up a graph, you can put up a pie chart, you can put up who are the authors, who are the top 10 authors doing this topic, who are the one who mostly, which journal mostly publish this. These are few analyses that can be done. It's called systematic. And another important thing is that where do you going to search that particular research on that topic? For example, just now, microfinance. If I Google microfinance right now, I can find so many hundreds, thousands of microfinance, but I do not want most of the article. So Google is not the best way of doing systematic literature review. To do systematic literature review, normally the researchers will go either they search paper in Scopus, ProQuest maybe, or maybe sometimes in Web of Science. These are the database to search the journal, because this is the publisher. These are the database, not Google. Google is not. Google is everything under the sun. So be more specific in academia, right? So SLR, very interesting right now, right? You want to know more, we should have a much more specific session talks about SLR, surely. But I'm very much into that right now. I'm very much into that, and meta-analysis. And there's another word called Prisma. Prisma. If you again, you can look at that. Prisma, right? The second one.
Next question, Ibu Viverita. How can we write an interesting title when we should put the scope of the sample?
When should you put? I'll go to the second part of the question. When should you put the scope of the sample? Most of the time, we put that in abstract. Scope of sample. Maybe you want to say that the objective of the study is like this, and then from what country, from what year to what year, for example. But not necessarily you have to write like that every time. But sometimes some of the authors put that in introduction, just one sentence or two sentences. Sometimes they put in the introduction where they put the objective. Let's say the objective for the study is this. And then the next sentence will be, we will look into the countries of this, with the sample of this. That's it. Full stop. Short, precise, but not all journals require you to do that. But certainly objective, but not the scope. How to write an interesting title? This one is like how we write, or how we write an interesting title for a book. If you and me, and if every one of us in this room now is a novelist, tulis novel, or maybe a filmmaker, all right? Film, you do movie, drama. How to attract people? How to attract your potential readers? How to attract? Your title must be first, must be punch, must be good, right? How to write interesting title? You read more, you see more title, you link the title, right? Some title are like, for example, question mark. It can be a lot of title in question mark. I have a lot of example there, right? A research published last year. A research published last year. I share this research because you talk about title. This one, I cannot stop to share this paper. Let me, this one. This one is a proof. I prove it to you, not me. They do scientific research on this. This one published in 2019, although this is, I download it when it's forthcoming. The name of this research, the name of this research is called title length. Yeah, don't laugh. It's true. It's published in one of the top journals in Journal of Economic Behavior and Organization. They do, you see what they do, the abstract, we document strong and robust negative correlation between the length of the title and the economics article and different measures of scientific quality published within the year of 1970-2011. They found out in economics, especially, I'm sure it's in any field, the same. In finance, in management, the same. The shorter the title, the better the probability of getting published are higher. That's what they show in this paper, not me. I didn't do the research. That kind of research pun boleh buat, boleh publish. Title length. They analyze the title length. The shorter the title, the better. The longer the title, sometimes it confuses the editor. And you have to know, some journals have limit of title. The shorter, the better. How to find it interesting? Put as much as possible that will attract the readers. There are some title like this. This one is written by some of my fellow Malaysian, my friends also in UPM. Their title, his title of the article, some of these title of article, literature review article, he write there, mirror, mirror on the wall. That's the title, mirror, mirror on the wall, who are the, then the title. But it's not mirror, mirror on the wall, who are the fairest among all. No, mirror, mirror on the wall, who are, then their title. Like, attract people to read. You get me? Maybe some of you, maybe some of you in the future, after this, you want to put title like Avengers. Avengers, then some other things you want to do. Why not? Previously, I've one paper, I published one paper in one of Malaysian journal, food journal actually, food journal. I penetrate into food journal. It's a impact factor journal. Economic research, but I penetrate into food one. My title is, the title of the article is Hungernomics. Hunger and economics are combined, become Hungernomics. Create new things. Or I me and my student also, not us created that word. There's another word that we put in our title is criminolometrics. It's econometrics and criminal. We combine criminal criminolometrics analysis. Acceptable. People found, wow. Or another title that you can look at my profile. Another of my publication, that one some time ago with my student. One of my paper on crime and economy. I put the title on is phenophobia an incentive to crime? A question. Phenophobia is afraid of nothing, afraid of losing. Afraid of losing. It becoming my title. So if you think that is interesting, attract people, go ahead. Right? Although it sounds a bit, what is this? That is sometimes interesting part, which the editors want to read more. Okay, I think I'll stop here for a while. We take a break, right, Ibu Dwi?
Yeah, we have one question actually from Pak Usman, but no. It's more related to the next session.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
About tips and tricks to be accepted in journals. It's related to the, yeah. So thank you very much, Evan, from this first sessions. Yeah, it's very interesting presentations and discussions. To all participants, we will have short break, 10 minutes. Please not to leave this virtual meeting room. Yeah, you may off your camera, you may mute your audio, but please not to leave this meeting room. We will start again in 10 minutes. Irfan maybe can put the timer here, can display the timer of 10 minutes. Okay, you all in 10 minutes.
Okay, I have a request, Ibu Dwi, from myself. Yes. I'm going to exit this this meeting for a while. I'm going to restart my laptop because I think my laptop's move a little bit slow. It needs some restart because it has not been restarted for quite some time. So I need to restart and I'll come back here in a while after. Okay?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. See you in 10 minutes.
Yes.
For all participants, please stay here, not to leave the meeting room. Irfan, put the timer 10 minutes, please. Hello, everyone. Back again. Is Evan already here?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, thank you. Back again. Let's have the next sessions about the methodology, results, conclusion sections in the article, and then how to respond to reviewers, tips and tricks to get the article published. Please, Evan, you can continue the presentations, and then after that, we can have Q&A and discussion sessions.
Sure. All right. I will share my
It's very cute.
slides again. Yeah, that's my twin.
Oh, twins. Oh, two boys.
Yes, yes. Yes, two boys. Two naughty boys.
Very cute.
So I better out of the house because they might be disturbing me. Right, just opening my slides again. Sorry for that because I restart my computer. Let's wait for a while, right? What happened here? Yeah, it's coming up. All right. It's a bit slow. Okay, my slide is back. Right, I hope everyone can see my slides. Again, thank you very much. Go back to here just now. I stopped somewhere here. I already indirectly including this one also, literature review. The section called literature review, I will straight away go to the point of what should be inside the literature review, also up to methodology, up to result later, up to conclusion. Certainly, if you're writing a research paper, you do not have time or we don't have enough space actually to include all the published paper of the given topic. So you just need to include the most relevant one, the most latest one, right? And then reference up to date. If can, do not cite some papers before the year 2000 or 1990, 1980. If it's a very important article, no problem, right? The main article. Other than that, please do not. I mean, it depending. You can mix your literature review, especially, or even up to methodology or so on, and that you can mix some quite historical review or literature, but not all your literature is historical. Then the editors would think that you do not update your literature, especially, right? Do not just summarize, organize, effective manner, transition, integrate, link it together. I show some of the ways. These are some of the ways. Example down there. One of the first researchers to investigate this problem, Peter and Smith, counter Lee's argument. This is the right way to write, rather than just saying that this author is wrong, that author is right, and so on. No, we write in a very more subtle way. Becoming more complex and considered. One researcher agree, something like that. You know, if there's kind of space. So just now I give this example. I still go with this example of ethnic food consumption. You see the literature review section before I go into other section. They have one section called ethnic food and tourism. So there are such a literature exists that link ethnic food and tourism. So that thing exists. Right, so put some literature on that. Another section on theoretical underpinning of ethnic food consumption intention. So you see, this is not new things. They apply a theory, some from TPB. It's nothing new. in psychology TPB and apply into a lot in management marketing research of IGEN. So it's nothing new. This is important citation. Then after that, the application, right? These are several ways of writing it, right? Move forward to methodology. If you look at this part of methodology, I'll start off with this. State and explain the methodology that we are using. What are you using actually? If you say that you're using, for example, you're using some time series analysis, then explain the time series analysis a little bit. Brief, put some equation if it's needed. Right? Terms, notation, cite some papers, methodological papers, maybe put some up the regression, maybe if it's needed in some journals, right? If it's well known, or you just briefly, you just say that I'm using this method, which is already been used as in the standard literature of this, and this be used in methodology in this, and so on. So at least you know that exists. You don't have to repeat it again. This is how it looks like. This is how. Do not write it as if you write a thesis. A thesis you can have more pages. Here maybe you will just have 2 pages, 1 pages of methodology, right? If the method is new, then you take time explain it. Method, and then we inside the methodology section. Yes, inside the methodology, normally you can explain also how this methodology can achieve the objective, right? And that is the right methodology to use. Let's say your objective is to analyze the impact of one towards the other one, to analyze the impact of maybe to know whether risk is important for firms, right? Risk is important to measure the risk, and then how we're going to impact the dynamics of the firms. So, and then you use some methodology which is suitable to calculate the risk and suitable to analyze the kind of risk towards firm, for example, right? List the paper use the similar methodology. It's like the literature review, but in a different way. Whether this method has been adopted by other researchers also. If you are the first who do this, then again, by all means, you should mention, I'm the first one who used this methodology and apply to this scenario. No problem. Mention that if you know that you are the first. If there is a lot of other literature have done it before, you just reconfirm that kind of, use the same methodology, then do not use that word, right? If there is alternative methodology, let's say for example, in finance, especially in finance, most of us in finance, but finance banking, we do involve a lot in panel analysis, doing some panel estimation. So there's a lot of panel analysis. The families of panel analysis, a lot. For example, right? You can have those dynamic panel, or you want to use GMM, or you want to use some other panel methods. You want to use logistic, you want to use probit type of panel, you want to use and so on and so on. So make sure that you know why you use this type of panel, whether you want to use the panel regression or those non-stationary panel time series and so on. For example, panel or time series. Or if you're using questionnaire, whether you want to go ahead with the PLS partially square, or you want to use PLS SEM, and so on and so on, and other different kind of methodology, right? Explain, right? Explain the empirical procedure enough detail that someone could replicate your work in the future. Sometimes, or not sometimes, and most of the times, you put the hypothesis inside this section, or sometimes some of the authors put in literature review. They link straight away to literature review, to literature, or it can be in methodology. And then do not forget to explain the data. It can be a separate section, methodology, maybe this is all your method, and then you move to data description. Or sometimes some people use data first and then dependent, right? State the frequency, sample period, size, the variables, discuss the variable, where does the data come from, the source of the variables, everything must be put in, right? If some of the journal might require you to do this descriptive statistic, not every journal, and some research required to do this, especially in banking and finance. Maybe you want to put some descriptive statistic, mean, you want to put some mean, median, and so on and so on. Go ahead and put in this section before you move into empirical. All right. Okay. Next one. Yeah. Then we move to empirical result. These are the few keywords there. Make sure to link the result to the issue raised in the introduction and hypothesis developed. Do not infer something that not supported by the data or result. Referees pick up or referees editor pick up this very easily. So let's say you found out this one do not support this theory. This one do not support the other theory. Yes, I mean, you can mention that, but do not just focus on that. Maybe you focus on you focus on the one that supported that the theory, the one that supported the theory. Yes, you can always, this one I will go in much detail if some of you would ask the question related to this part. But if not, then I'll just saying that discuss something that is there, that supported, right? And then the other one, important parts when you discuss the result is that you must compare with those previous study. Are you finding new? Is it consistent? If not, then explain why you get a different result. Why you do not support by the data, right? Why the data, I mean the results, previous literature says positive relationship, but you get negative relationship. Why? Explain. Maybe different types of setting, different country, different geographical area, different region maybe have different types of understanding, right? Next one, right? For example, clearly stated the relationship with previous publication of previous literature. The result is the finding suggests which is consistent with who and who. The finding is in agreement. However, this result have not been previously described. This is contrast with the result. Let's say you found that kind of thing. Contrast, then why? Not been discussed much. That's why you discuss it. That's why you discover it. You discover something new. So what's new, right? Empirical result again, and then you put your table, your result, your statistical analysis, especially if you do quantitative. Even you do qualitative, there's some tables there. There's some tables of result, right? Report the result in professionally done table. It is not good idea to copy and paste. I have a lot of this example. Statistical program, do not just copy and paste. You copy and paste from SPSS, from Smart PLS, from Stata maybe, from Gauss program, from eViews, from Microfit, from R. Do not just copy and paste on table. Table should be self-explanatory. For example, like this. Avoid long boring table. This is long boring table with a lot of line. Referee sees it, editor sees it, it's like, oh. Although your result is good, but when the presentation, right? Do something like this. If you do the table, I'm sure everyone goes through this. Oh, sorry. Let me get my slides done. Okay. Avoid vertical line in the table. You can delete all this line. You just have 1 line, 2 line, 3 lines for table. That's it. Do not have this kind of line. That's too messy, right? It's very messy. Only do that when the journal permitted you to do that. Not every journal, right? This one I want to add on, especially, not only just me. I'm sure a lot of my other friends and colleagues will agree with me also. This is the recent requirement for the top international journal in finance, economics, management, marketing, whatever field, is that robustness test. robust. After you estimate your model, present your table, explain the result, these top journals mostly will require you to do more to check whether the result that you found is actually reliable, it's actually robust, it's actually correct, re-estimate, or you further analysis, do further analysis, right? Do further analysis, for example, such as others alternative estimation techniques, maybe different sample size, different size indicators, using different control variable, discuss. They'll be interesting. For example, like this, right? This one just now, the one example that I give you just now, the 21 countries, bank efficiency, on bank regulation and efficiency. These are the countries they use, right? 11 countries, this one's the sample. The dependent variable that explain the methodology very well, explain very well. You can have a look at the paper. And then they have the model down there, how they estimate it. Certainly they use panel analysis here, right? And then the control variable, they explain the control variable, and they use the model estimation, specification, right? Description of data, nicely written in the table. If your data, you use a lot of data, for example, like this, put in one nice table. You put in one nice table like this, for example. How they measure it, what's the sources, and so on, this description, right? Rather than you explain in paragraph, you put in the table, right? Very good. And then this is the result. You see the result compared to the table that I give you earlier on just now. So much line. Here you don't have this line, vertical line. One model, two model, they have 6 different models, but using system GMM, regulation and bank efficiency. And these are the variables and estimate. This is the standard way. Yeah, this standard way of presentation. Right? Yeah. I just show you how the standard way of presentation. And then they do further analysis. If you see that table 4 here, regulation and bank efficiency, this is the main result. And then they go further, they discuss about sensitivity analysis. It's like robustness test actually. They do sensitivity analysis, further analysis, right? Further analysis on certain things, on certain hypotheses that they want to answer, right? These are the example, and then this is like robustness and an example there. And then move forward for the conclusion here. Is that conclusion section helps the editor and reviewer to judge your work clearly, easily. Keep it brief, summarize the motivation, the purpose of the study, what we did, what we have found, state the key conclusion, avoid, if can, avoid citation if possible. If it's not possible, it's okay. You just cite some important article in your reference, in your conclusion, because reference supposedly is yours. You don't have to cite anyone else. But if you think that you want to cite maybe some policies from the government, some things that have been done on the policy side, yeah, why not? Or you want to cite some authors who says this in terms of that, which you can improve. Yeah, go ahead. But try to reduce it even you cite it. All right. And this one, yeah, discuss the implication, other findings supporting theory, solving any problem, help managers, maybe it depends on what topic you're talking about, policy makers, design new strategies, much broader implication. Do not overstate the findings, however. The implication must be based on the only evidence reported in the paper. Do not exaggerate the result. If your result found like this, if your result found that A is connected with B, do not talk about C. Right? Or do not say that, oh, this result is applied to every country in the world. Oh, no. It's just based on your sample, maybe. Specific. Right? And then no speculative statement. Do not say that this result can apply to any other countries and so on, and any other situation. No. Don't do that. If you do that, means that you have done more analysis. possible future work, some recommendation is you can always say that for future work we can have a look of this kind of thing. So this is the standard conclusion, right? Give you some extra thing, right? Just now this paper, maybe, yeah, I straight away go here. Once we have finished everything from introduction up to conclusion, then we write abstract. Don't write your abstract first. Write abstract later. Abstract is a sneak peek, advertisement. It's a preview of your paper, right? These are the way of doing it. Normally up to 250 words or sometimes 300 maximum. Standalone, normally no reference. There's a meaning. If it's an acronym being used, put it in there. Abbreviation, maybe put it in. This one just one example. The paper just now, the 21 countries transition. You see the abstract there. Very straightforward. If you read the abstract here, all of you here be able to read that. Say, the nature of banking sectors, transition countries, and the unique institutional setting. This paper document the effect of regulation on efficiency of bank using system GMM and the dynamic panel quantile regression for 21 transition countries for the period of this one to this one. Very straightforward. One sentence, everything is there. In one sentence, the first sentence talks about the issue, transition economy, banking sector, efficiency, regulation, sample period. Everything in one. And then the second sentence, within the system GM estimation, this paper finds that the result straight away. Right? The third sentence, however, dynamic panel quantile result shows that regulation have different effect at different quantile. All right, fair, still on the result. This study provides important policy implication relates to banking regulation in transition economy. Implication. So this abstract only 4 sentences. Do not have to write so much of what is the, I don't know, straight away. Right? Or some would write that the objective for the paper is like this. No problem. It depends on how you're going to craft your abstract itself. This is important. Right? This one is just one example. This one again, I show you our paper, our latest paper. We start off with objective. This research examined the effect of data for the time period and so on in Indonesia. Using a system GMM, we found that, what result we found? A, B, C, D, E. This one's supposed to be, it's on corrected version still. So A, B, C, D, E, we found that these are the results, right? And then this evidence contribute to the literature by uncovering the importance and previously identified determinant of risk, namely reputation. So we introduce a new thing to the risk, especially looking at developing country, looking at Indonesia on reputation. Does reputation matters? That's why the title, Does Reputation Matters? For firm risk. It's a question. And this is a title. It's offered, and then this is from the policy side of making. So it can be like this, a little bit longer. We explain the result in the abstract, but it's all there. It's all there. I think maybe this part, maybe I can share this part if there is some other question, or maybe I text some question, or you want me to show? You want me to carry on, Dwi? Ibu Dwi? This one will be mostly on tips, maybe, or
this is related to Pak Usman questions. Data analysis from some respected journals show that trend research of COVID-19 is volatility. What is your suggestion to enhance probability of accepted in international journal by following the trend or to be anti-mainstream?
This is good. Right. This one again, like I mentioned earlier, the research world right now, I would say that the research world, including us in academia right now, or the world basically is actually crazy on the COVID-19. Crazy of COVID-19 and crazy because of COVID-19, both the same thing. They are bi-directional relationship. We are crazy because of COVID-19, and COVID-19 make us crazy. That's a good hypothesis to test. But while I'm saying that, COVID-19, as I mentioned earlier, is that it will becoming a research issue for years to come, until there's another new pandemic coming up, a new more significant pandemic, right? So for time being, if you want to follow the bandwagon, if you want to follow the wave, the new wave now is to do research related to COVID-19. No problem. Go ahead. You can do a literature review on COVID-19. They are already published some literature review on COVID-19, but still can do it on, still can be published on COVID-19 related issue, maybe on COVID-19 and banks, COVID-19 and financial institution, COVID-19 and certain things, right? So you can do that, no problem. If you want to, if you want to ignore that also, no problem. There's not a problem. So you have an option. I give you throw back this to you. What do you want? You want to have a fast, rapid fame for a while to involve in COVID-19 research? Go ahead, do that. Publish 1 or 2 papers on COVID-19. It might gain citation into your profile, and then people might cite you, and then you'll get famous because of that. No problem, right? By all, that one you can carry on. But if you want to do some, if you want to anti-mainstream, that also good enough, because you still trust that your own field, right? Do not want to get involved into the COVID-19 kind of issue. Yeah. So I think that's my fair judgment based on that, fair answer based on that. Right. Any more question? Okay, go and carry on with this part.
Yeah, you can carry on.
Okay. This one just now is already mentioned the structure of the paper itself, from introduction up to abstract, with literature review, with I show you some example of some example of what has been done, what published, why the paper get published, and so on. These are common things that been highlighted, especially some of it by journal editors, other journal editors also, some of it based on my experience. What's the reason for most for rejection? Certainly, when the journal editors read the paper, they always look for motivation. What's the motivation of the paper? Actually, why the researcher want to conduct the research? Ask yourself, why you need to conduct? What's the issue behind? Right, that's the first. So that's the common thing, common rejection. The second one is that what's your contribution? What you contribute to the literature? If you could not say that out, what's my contribution? What's the novelty in the introduction? Then the journal editors might think that you do not contribute anything. Poorly written means that it doesn't flow well. When you read, it's like, huh? Suddenly one paragraph jumping from A, and then jumping until Z, and then coming back to M, coming back to, it's not in sequence. It's like, do not flow well. That's the next one. Same thing, poorly written, grammatical error here and there, right? Grammatical error, grammatically not correct is always an issue for us, including myself. When I send a paper to a journal, normally one of the comment is, go and check, go and submit your paper to some English editor, or those English editor who are first language is English, which is not us. Our first language is not English. in this region. We have to accept that fact. So I'm still learning, still doing it until today. Methodology must be proper one, not necessarily the latest one, but proper, sufficient, good enough, right? No sufficient contribution or knowledge, same thing, almost similar. The editor would think that you do not read the literature. Means that when you look at the reference, look at the literature, like, your latest citation is the year 2000. Means that for the past 20 years, nobody do your research. No one do similar things like what you did. Is that what you mean? Right? Not interesting. Not interesting is a very subjective issue. Right? Some editors would think that this is interesting. Some would think that this is not interesting. Like what Zafri just now asked earlier on some editors would not publish a paper from Indonesia, maybe, or from Malaysia, from developing countries. They only publish papers from European side or US side. Yes, this kind of editor exists. For them, this is not interesting. They want only the studies from that side of the world. But most of the editors are not like that. Most of it, they are much more open-minded. They are supposed to be editors, open-minded and accept all papers from all around the world, not just certain geographical part of the world. Right? So that's me. That's most of the editors, I think, that way. Conclusion not supported by the findings. Say, your findings found this. Your findings found that. Your findings found A, but you talk about B. Nothing related. Right? Right? Again, writing is a highly competitive activity. Do not rush for submitting. Select appropriate publication outlet. Read M and the scope of the journal author's guideline. Carefully. Read carefully whether they publish such a paper. If they publish such a paper, like the earlier question just now, cite them. If they don't, maybe it's not suitable for you. The journal might not be suitable for you. Yeah, recently there's two journals I sent. One same paper I sent is a work from my student. I sent to one Malaysian journal and one international journal. Both rejected me. Not because according to the editors lah, not because my paper is not good, but they say that my paper is not suitable for the aim and the scope of the journal. Okay, they say that your paper much more suitable for this type of journal. They suggest some journals. I'm like, okay, that's fair enough. Right. So read carefully. So because yes, one local Malaysian journal I sent is actually the journal. The aim of journal says that they will publish papers from Malaysia. I mean, any research in Malaysia, whether it's science, social science, or something else, but Malaysian-based research. So that's why I send there, because I'm doing on Malaysia, research on Malaysia. So I send. They say the editor say it's not suitable because our focus, yes, on Malaysian studies, but this more specific. Or like, oh, okay, no problem. I'm good with that, right? So read carefully. Rejection, keep trying. Reject today, tomorrow. Today you cry, tomorrow you cry, next day you cry. After a few days, don't cry anymore. Get back, send. So I get 2 rejection last month because of not suitable. I've sent to another journal. So far, so good. No news sometimes means good news. if you send today, tomorrow the editor reply you, that might be rejection. If you send today, the editor reply you after 1 month, maybe there's not rejection. That's the editor telling you that this is the report for your paper. Ooh, revision, right? When you choose the journal, stick like glue. Follow the journal, right? This one always, I think I'll share. I've shared with some of you. I shared again. Do not submit to multiple journals at once. Means that don't submit one paper, 2 journal. One paper to no. The one that I'm telling you, my sandpaper, 2 different journal. I submitted one first, reject, and then I submitted the other one, reject. Now I submit the third one, but both already reject, so no problem. Right? Now, alternative, there are always alternative. Go to conference. I suggest earlier just now, go to this conference. Now is our chance to attend all these big conference virtually. Even we join their webinar. There's a lot of journal right now, they do webinar. Emerald right now, they're quite actively, Emerald publisher, they quite actively conduct webinar from journal editors perspective, Elsevier also. Join, see what they think, right? Meet them, although it's online, right? Publish on failures. Sometimes you think this is a failed project, but maybe that is the one that been publishable, all right? Make your own self known, making your name known, collaborate with your friends, your supervisor, your colleagues, present at conference, talk to people, network, write, create on website. This is all normally happen. So how to get your paper published? This is one of the things that I'm going to talk to you about, especially. It must be timely, relevant, highlight the importance, follow direction, clear, logical, easy to read, right? Willingness to accept reviewer suggestion to improve if you are managed on that part, right? These are few things. Also, I have a few more slides to go. Why the paper is accepted? This is by one of the editors-in-chief of Geology Review, a science journal. Attention to detail, double, triple check your work, read again, read again. Read 20 times, 30 times. Ask your friend to read. Ask your spouse to read. Ask your husband, ask your wife, ask your kids to read. Whether they understand what you have write. Consider the review. English must be good as possible. Presentation is important. Take time for the revision. Acknowledge who have helped you. New original. Critically evaluate your own. Ethical rules must be obeyed. This one, I got these slides. I got these few slides actually from Professor Tiramaya, USM. Those of you, some of you might know him because he did a lot on information management, and he published a lot in good journal in management. Do your homework before you want to submit to any journal, right? Not just target one journal. We have few more other journals, right? Do your homework. That's what this is from Tiramaya. I got his slide from him, right? This is how reviewer looks like. Now entering the how to address reviewer. I know some of you like this man that in the picture, right? Reviewer, they will shoot you. They will shoot you most of the time. Typical reviewers, they are plain. They are ready to shoot you, right? This is golden rule in replying to reviewers. This is from Tiramaya, and I agree with him 100%. I attended his talk. I still attending a lot of talks, webinar and so on. Rule number 1, reviewers is always right. Rule number 2, if reviewer is not right, refers to rule number 1. Means that reviewer is always right. Do not argue with reviewer. Reviewer asks you to do this, do that. Address all the review comments professionally, right? Must do that. This is one of the, right? Revision. Do not be discouraged. A paper often, sometimes 3-4 times revision, especially in SSCI. SSCI is Social Science Citation Index and SCI is Science Citation Index. This is impact factor journal in Web of Science, or now we call it Clarivate Analytics. Good journals, sometimes they takes a long time to publish, maybe up to 2 years, 3 years. Good international journal. So you must plan. You must plan ahead, right? Sometimes goes up to 3 review, 4 review, 5 review. My friend, not me, my friend, a bunch of my friend, their paper, I think the journal name is, maybe some of you heard it before, International Journal of Manpower, published by Emerald Publisher. International Journal of Manpower is a impact factor journal. My friend who, a group of friends of mine who published in that particular journal, they review 6 times. 6 time reviewing, 6 time revision. Ooh, you see how hard. No worry, not in IJBS. IJBS, the most we go 2 times or 3 times. Revise one, come back, send back to reviewer. Reviewer say, do this again. And then second time, third time, should be okay. So it depends on the journal. Some journal goes up to that. My experience is only 3 times maximum. I publish in one. In my paper with a bunch of my friends, also researcher. Our paper goes 3 times revision in social research indicator, impact factor. Social research indicator, 3 times. 1 time review come back, major, both. 3 review report come back, all major. We respond everything, send back. Come back again. After 3 review, come back again, 2 more review. 2 more major. There's now 3 major becoming 2 major. Second time. Review, do it, reverse, send back again to editor. The last time coming back, 1 or only 1 review, because the other review say, okay, good. 1 review say, minor, this is just minor. Then we send back to the editor, the 4th time, the editor say, accept. Okay, we are happy. So these are the process, and it takes about 2 years to get the paper published, right? Revise, submit, resubmit, resubmit. Right? This one, from this part, a conclusion, but not a conclusion for my whole talk yet. I still have time here. We still have time to answer question, and then I can give some other example. Publication take time. Plan ahead. Planning, writing, finding, targeting journal. It requires patience, dedication. Long delayed are not uncommon. Do not wait too long for rejected paper. Submit again. Take time with the revision. Never argue with editors. Never argue with them. This is what I say. For this part, I always believe in moving forward. We should have more collaboration. I always, for time being, for me, moving forward right now is collaboration, research, publish, and flourish. And we grow. We grow together in the friends, research friends, right? These are some finance journal, if you're in finance, especially. Good journal. These are good journal in finance. Right? As I did specifically mention here, but for reviewer, you must, as I mentioned just now, the golden rule, address everything that the reviewer say. Do not skip. Do not argue. Do not say that you reviewer do not understand what I'm trying to do. No, never do that. If you do that, you reply that. And the editor send back to the reviewer. The reviewer will straight away reject. Send back to editor send back to you, reject. You're like, oh, no, do. If the reviewer asks you to re-estimate. The editor asks you, the reviewer asks you to add this, try to add on. If you say you cannot add on, explain why. No problem. But try your best first. These are some journals I'll share with you. Just to take the opportunity to promote IJBS. We are in Q3. These are the aim and scope. We publish high quality multidisciplinary approach. Strong emphasis on business, economic, finance, means that the Faculty of Economics and Business UI, UI is very suitable. Certainly, we have now published numbers of UI papers. We have three issues in the year. We are indexed in all these international one. We're in Scopus, we are in Web of Science under ESCI, Emerging Social Society Index, which I think a lot of your your journal, your faculty journal are in ESCI. We are also in ABDC. We just managed to go into ABDC last year, 2019, Scopus 2009, ESCI 2015, and all these are before that. We are in MySite, which is Malaysian one. We are in ProQuest, we are in ASEAN Citation Index, EBSCOhost, certainly in Skimago. ABDC, last year we got it in. We are ranked lowest among all the journals. Among the numbers of journal, they about the new list 2019, about I think 1,000 journal, only 1,000 journal for all over the world. They have up to A+. We are still in C because we're just new, so no problem. We have no problem. Hopefully, we're going to increase the going up. And I invite you to submit to this call for paper. This is the guest editor is myself and few more of my friends. Tang from USM, Abdul Rahim from UITM, and Irwan from 11 Maret. Scopus Journal, Q3's Scopus Journal, International Journal of Economic Policy in Emerging Market. We open up not necessarily in economics only, but business, financial impact, stock market, and so on. Due date still in time, December. These are on the pandemic. This is a publisher called InterScience. You can submit through if you have related papers. You can try this journal also, right? Submit to. If you think that your paper, if you want to send to me first before you send into the InterScience, also can, no problem, to have a look. And then you submit it to InterScience. Yeah, I invite all of you, those of you who have related papers, submit it, right? These are the subject coverage related papers. Interesting to see some issues on Indonesia related to COVID-19. I give this as one of my final slides. This one I also give a webinar last week with Muhammadiyah Malang. Writing and publishing are like a lot like running a marathon. Train, prepare, so you cross the finish line every time. Every time you publish the paper, that's the finish line. Yeah, but you must train, you must prepare, you must plan, right? So it's like a marathon. So this is my last slide, I think, for this part. You want me to? I'm going to share something. I'm going to share. I take some question, or maybe I share this. This actually, yeah. I give this one actually to all of you also. Never mind, I'll share some. This is from our perspective. Some of that we receive, especially in IJBS. I just share with you what we have here. Actually, some of it I do not specifically touch on the papers that are given to me by the committee. Can you see this?
Sorry?
Oh no, you cannot see. Sorry. I didn't share my screen. So sorry. Yeah, I think it's there. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. This is the final thing. I'm going to take not very long here, maybe 5-10 minutes here, right? Maybe about 10 minutes. So these are some of the articles that I'll share. I share with most of some of the webinar that also you updated few of them. These are some articles that I have. For example, like this. We look at this paper, Contribution of Economic Sectors to Economic Growth in Bangladesh and ARTL Test Approach. We read through the paper, the abstract, the paper. It's like, when you read the title, it's like Contribution of Economic Sectors. This is very general. First thing, this is from my perspective. Very general, economic growth, still very general. And you read through, actually they want to focus on agriculture, manufacturing, service. The contribution. Why is contribution? It should be, the paper should analyze on the impact. Analyze the impact, not contribution. how if it's a contribution like the title, then we would have in mind says that how you measure contribution, how contribution be measured. Right, so that's the first thing. And again, this leads to that's rejection from IJBS perspective. This one, another paper that sent to us in IJBS, an insight into internet banking service by international postgraduate student in Malaysia. Interesting. Postgraduate student, international, internet banking. But when look into that, title is in, when look into the abstract and look into the research itself, it found that this one is very much very selective. The sample itself is very selective. I mean, nothing wrong with that. But then again, the write up is also not interesting and it's not up to date. The literature review and so on and so on. This is what we found when we read the whole paper as a group in our editorial, right? This is from the paper itself. This is from this paper, the insight, and then they have this section, problem statement. Do not write this in any of your paper. If you write a thesis, no problem. Section, problem statement, research gap, objective, significance of study, contribution, no problem. But not in a paper. Write in a paragraph format. Nicely. Everything should be there in one paragraph, 1 pages. Right? So we reject it because of this particular thing. Not just the formatting, but the way that they write. The flow is not there. This one more interesting. Economic growth analysis, a study of Malaysia market. Economic growth and market. This is totally out of context for us, right? Okay, data is there, the method is there, mentioned there, OLS, ordinary least square. Economic growth analysis, so still it's not strong enough. And the introduction is nothing wrong with just a very, very short introduction, but this short 1 paragraph introduction explain nothing on Malaysia. Nothing on Malaysia. You want to talk about the person or the authors want to mention, want to do on Malaysia. But here in introduction, maybe if you can see that, nothing on Malaysia. Just one word here. Malaysia continue to achieve the target to be developed country by looking at stabilization and economic growth. Huh? That's all. What they want to do? What's the objective? What's the issue? What about Malaysia? What's the statistic? Nothing. No way we can accept this kind of paper, right? And yeah, to make more interesting thing, this is from the paper itself. No, this is not from the paper. Sorry, this is from the other. This is from the other paper. The other paper. But it looks like this. You see, it says there's a research gap, literature review, research question. This is a thesis, and the equation like this. This is just copy and paste from a thesis without doing anything. Okay. Result presenting like this. This is copy and paste 100% from eViews. Do not do that. Never do that. Do your own table. Be original. Right? You get your result from any statistical software, but do your own table. On table. Barulah. Then you'll be happy that you do your own table. Right? This is another one. This is from European side. We got this from the European side of the world. Right? They want to do something on this. The title itself sounds very confusing, and the way of write up also very confusing. And they want to do something that is already happened 40 years ago. 76, 78. Now it's 2020. You still want to talk about 40 years ago. So it's no longer, it's outdated. Okay? Something like that. This is, I share, as I told you just now, the shorter the title, the better. This is from Professor Lau Seong Hock. I'm sure most of you knows him. He's my good friend from UPM. Our good friend in Malaysia here. This paper co-authored by him and the two authors. You see the title, this is from a journal called Empirical Economics. The title called One Date, One Break. Accepted, published in a very good journal. What's the paper about? Liberalization. And they mention, they analyze on structural break. That's it. But they don't want to write structural break. They don't want to write liberalization. They write One Date, One Break as a title, published. I always mention this paper anywhere I go because I tell him, I like, your paper, your title, this paper is very, very provocative to lead us to want to read more. This one is another paper by a group of my friends in Malaysia. Some of them Malaysia, in Pakistan, in Singapore. Does it matter where to run? Run marathon. Intention to participate in destination marathon. They link this to tourism. Running tourism. Interesting. And they publish. And this is Emerald. Emerald do this kind of abstract. We call it structured abstract. This is from my own paper. This is the journal that I'm telling you just now. Social Indicator Research. It takes 3 times to revise. 3 times to revise. It's the work of my student. And it's about student. It's about us. How do students evaluate us? Right? We look at the different perspective of physical attractiveness, psychological perspective, teaching abilities, questionnaire, a case study from Malaysia, and it published in a good journal, good top journal, right? So yeah, I'm very happy to get this published last year, 2019, right? Yeah. This one is written by an author, the first author there. I do not know him, but I like his paper. Normally, I read on robotics in hospitality and tourism. This is something new. IR 4.0. More than that, talks about robots, hospitality, tourism, a review of literature. This is another SLR just now. Some of you asked just now, I think from Ibu Ida, you know. It just asked about SLR. Yeah, this is one that you can look into. Maybe, but this is nothing to do maybe your topic, but you want to see the way how they write. Cara penulisannya, how they write. You can look at this paper if you want to. All right, it's a very interesting one. This is another one, written by my friend also. He's in Singapore, a group of my friend. A case of Miri Country Music Fair. Miri is one district, is it? I call it, we call it here, district here in Sarawak. And it's about music festival. Boleh. Indonesia, a lot of music festival. Can do a lot of studies on that. Link to tourism. Link to tourism. That's the interesting part to sell point. Right? I think I'll stop there. Yeah. I have time for Q&A.
Any questions? Yeah. Any questions?
Question.
I want to ask, you mentioned before that the table is self-explanatory, right? Yeah. If the table is self-explanatory, so does it mean that we don't need to explain anything about the table, or how detailed should we explain about the content of the table?
When I say table is self-explanatory, means that first thing, certainly, as I mentioned just now, do not copy and paste from your output of the statistical program that you use. That's the first thing. Do not copy and paste. Do your own table, and the table must be self-explanatory. When I say self-explanatory, is that you still need to write the discussion part in your discussion section and the empirical discussion. But it's just that table itself, if someone who knows the analysis, who know how to read the results, when they see the table, they know already what's the result. That's the meaning of self-explanatory. Means that if you put the star there, asterisk. If you put asterisk 1, asterisk 2, 2 asterisk, 3 asterisk, means that 1% significant, 5% significant, 10% significant. Or if you put ln there, maybe a logarithm, and those are all explained in the table itself. That's the meaning of self-explanatory. So those people who understand it, when you read the table, when you see the table, I don't really that particular editor or reviewer do not really have to go and search in the result there. Where is this part? What is this? They will go in only to see the more detailed one. But from the table itself, they know, oh, this is significant. Okay, this is not significant. Okay, this is like this. That is like this. That's the meaning of self-explanatory. Means that the table itself is good enough, rather than other than to read. You want to know more, read. If not, see the table, we know the result already. Okay? That's from editor point of view and from reviewer point of view. Okay? Right? Okay. Thank you.
More
What else?
questions?
Yes, and more questions from the participant, or maybe some sharing. Those of you who have some experience, sending to a journal, and then what happened after that? You can share some of the experience.
Oh yeah, any share of experience maybe from participants, or want to add something from the draft that you sent to the committee?
Yeah, there's 3 more papers. Actually, if you want me to mention that part, also can. I can mention another paper if can.
Oh yeah, I have one question actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's for me especially, it's quite difficult to understand what the reviewers mean. I share one of my experience when I submit the journals. The reviewers comment, the research is rich of data but poor in executions. Only that's all the reviewers. It's confusing for me. Do you have comments, or tips and tricks how to respond if the reviewers comments not too details, not too precise in what side of what sections to improve, something like that?
Yeah. I will respond this one very, very quickly. It's like that's one of the this now I'm looking at the shoe. No, I'm inside the shoe from a journal perspective. We as a journal also, it's not easy for us to find reviewer. It's not easy. It's not easy at all, because sometimes this is our dilemma. Sometimes we get the report like what you say just now. We get the report says that the paper is good, but you need to improve on the or the execution is not good enough. Huh? So what should I do? What should I improve then? If that is the thing, because it's not mentioned. It's just a very general statement, just a very general one. So you can't do anything much, right? You can't do anything much, because if that happens, so it's not easy to find a reviewer. First thing I have to mention to all of you. The second part is that if you get that kind of reports, I hope not only one report. Maybe you get 2 reports. One a little bit more detailed than the one that you just mentioned. If it's get 2 reports like that, if you get a report says that the idea is good but the execution is poor, this is the least that you can correct it. That is good. But if it's just stop there, the execution is poor. Okay, what should we improve? So what can you do is that one of the ways that you look again into your paper, see, or you ask your friend to read, your other friends who read your paper, see whether what is the meaning of execution is poor. Maybe the way you present the result, maybe the way you put up the conclusion, maybe the way you put up your tables and so on. That's the meaning of execution from your point of view, from that point of view, because it's nothing. That is very general. If if the person write execution is A, B, C, and D, then you follow the A, B, C, D. If not, then you just do it generally. Yeah, do it very general, Ibu Dwi, and then you reply back. This is what I've done. Although you do your correction, maybe you do few which you think execution in that particular, your interpretation of execution, and then you send back to the journal. You say that this is what we have done, although the review says that is just execution. So we have done part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. We have improved here, improved there, improved here. Hopefully now the execution is better. You reply like that, no problem. But but do not say that the referee do not know anything about your paper. No, do not reply in such a way. Just reply professionally. Say that we have done this, although it was not detailed out. Okay, that's it.
We have Pak Yosman send introduction paper to have input from Dr. Lau. Maybe Pak Yosman can share to us using share screen. Mas Teddy, bisa di-enable partisipansnya untuk share screen, Pak Yosman?
Baik, silakan Ibu.
Ya, silakan Pak Yosman.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. We have Pak Yosman, Evan, to share something.
Yes, no problem, no problem. Just share, just share.
Can you see it, please?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Can you go up just now from the beginning of the title itself? So sorry, I didn't. Oh, financial intervention and restriction hypothesis in banking industry evidence from ASEAN 5. What is restriction hypothesis, if I were to ask?
It is about when we applied a restriction to the banking industry, and then there is the bank can go to expand its business if we do a less restriction, so that they can have a compete with others.
So it's about restriction. But is it commonly used the word restriction hypothesis, or is it just restriction by itself? Because the hypothesis sounds more like, the title sounds like very, how to say that, very statistical maybe. Some editors might do not like it.
Yeah, because I found this one in the, probably because in one of the good article, yeah.
They use that
in year 2000. Yeah, I found this one in 2004, 2000. I forgot the one.
Okay, no problem. If that is the standard way of writing it, I'm just saying, because from that point of view. But the financial innovation day is the word financial innovation day would sell your article. So if I were you, I would talk more on financial innovation. Yes, the deregulation, liberalization, and so on. Those are the things that moving forward. But financial innovation, sell that one. You should sell that inside your introduction, which I think you did talk about that. Maybe here in the first paragraph. Can you move a little bit? Go down. Right, insurance. Okay, this is some citation. Provide more letter citation. Do not, if can, do not just cite papers from 1996 or somewhere. If that is very important one, then then why not, right? Can you go a little bit down? Okay, yeah, you cite your own paper there.
Yeah.
2016 at all, 2017. Wow, good. No problem. We usually do include our own paper as a citation. Nothing wrong with that, but not too much. do not oversight ourselves. Do not oversight. That's one thing I always tell, I mean, a lot of people. Right. Okay. So yeah, still issue on financial innovation. Let's go down a little bit more. This is what page already. Okay. Okay. Is this part literature review already, or is just still introduction?
Just summarize of the literature review.
Summarize
with different sentence.
Okay. Because some of it sounds like very much of the literature review kind of writing. It's no longer introduction. but you still this paper is not is still on introduction, right? Belum, not yet of the analysis methodology.
No, yeah.
Oh, okay, right. But this is the good way of I think for me, if you ask me, this will be a good way of moving forward. But your literature review, maybe you can tighten it up. It depends on the journal that you want to send. You can try the journal that I mentioned just now, Financial Innovation. If this is completed, if this paper is completed, you can try a journal called the journal called Financial Innovation just now. The journal called Financial Innovation. I think it's published by Wiley. Look at the papers inside there and cite some of them, especially the year 2020, 2019 papers. Improve, add more a little bit of a literature, talks about financial innovation. So your focus will be on Indonesia, I presume? No, sorry, ASEAN.
ASEAN 5. Yeah.
ASEAN 5. So where is the objective here? I don't see the objective yet.
Yeah.
Belum ada objective.
Yeah, this one.
Oh, here. Okay. Down there. This is already what, page number 3?
Yeah.
Sometimes some journals are okay with that. Some journals would think that this is a bit too long already for the introduction. Depends on the journal. It depends on the journal. Not all journals are like that.
Yeah.
Right. So aim to examine the association between income diversification, market power, research activity, hypothesis, argue, the banking competitiveness in line. Where is the innovation part here? Where is the financial innovation part?
You mean the financial innovation in here?
Yeah, in the objective. Okay,
so when we unfortunately we don't have the a detailed data about the financial innovation. So we measure the financial innovation just using the the diversification of the banking activities.
Okay. Yeah. Is that commonly being used as you mentioned there? Is it's true that
several paper use that one. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So that is your financial innovation that you mentioned. Again, like I told you just now, this should be highlight. If let's say you want, let's say you already have a target journal. I give you the target journal, potential target journal, financial innovation, that journal. If that's your target journal, sell again, market the right more on the financial innovation. Although the measurement might not be very direct, it might be very indirect and it's a proxy, no problem. Because maybe some studies have used that before and you have cited that, also use that to measure the financial innovation. So highlight on that. That's the starting point. Again, that's why your RQ is there. Financial innovation through income diversification affect bank market power, whether country development financial innovation affect market power. In a research paper later, I mean in a complete write-up later, don't include RQ inside there, the research question. This one is for when you outline your paper, no problem. When you outline the paper, you can write, this is my research question. But in most of the published papers, they do not have RQ as a RQ itself. It's already inside there, embodied inside there, but not mentioning that. All right. I think that's what I feel. But yeah, so I'll be very delightful. I mean, I'll love to see this paper published very soon. You completed the paper and then published very soon, right?
Okay.
That's all, is it? You have only these 5 pages, right?
Yeah,
right.
4, just 4.
Or just 4? Okay.
Yeah.
But that's good.
Three, sorry. Yeah, 3 or 4. 4, yeah. Okay, sorry.
This is good enough. This one, the last paragraph here. The last paragraph here, you have a second last paragraph, last pages, 4 pages. Page 4 here, you mention about contribution. So if you talk about contribution, maybe you also can highlight about financial innovation just now.
Okay.
Yeah, highlight that more. Highlight that a little bit more. Yeah, try to sell that part again. And this idea can sell. This is quite recent also. Talks about financial innovation in banking sector. I wish you all the best in publish this in a good journal, good international journal, right?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We have 2 more, Evan. Firstly, a question from Pak Arif, yeah, about time period for submitting revision to our paper. Should we submit the revision on the deadline or near the deadline, or should we submit well in advance? If we submit well in advance, does that signal to the editors that we do not do enough revision, or otherwise it shows that we prioritize the paper revision? Okay, that's questions from Pak Arif. After that, we will have requests to a brief review of the draft of the paper from participants.
All right. Yeah, this one. This one is an interesting question. So when we do revision, that's why most of the journal will give an ample time for the authors to do revisions. Sometimes it depends. Maximum, I think, 2 months. So you can take the time or submit it near 2 months, no problem, or near 1 month, no problem. If you ask me personally, from my perspective as an author, I would say that I would love to submit as soon as possible after 1 week. After 1 week, I submitted back if I've done all the correction. But if from the perspective of the journal might think that, oh, I give you 1 month, but you get back to me 2 days. Oh, do you do all the thing? Are you serious? So that kind of question. So so what I can tell you is that, Pak Arif, is that you balance up. Try to balance up. Not too long, not too short. So if it's given 1 month, maybe after 2 weeks, after minggu ketiga, the 3rd week, you want to submit, no problem, right? Or you want to submit on the dot, because there's still no problem, right? But certainly not too early and not too late. So at the middle, play the middle role. Be safe. Play the middle role, right? Given you 1 month, gunalah, use that 1 month, not 2 days. The 2 days, maybe editors, you are not serious. Some editors might think that way. Not all, but some might think that way. Okay? I know that we want to settle as soon as possible, but some editors might think differently. Okay? I think I responded that to you. Thank you.
Okay, last one. From Pak Usman. Yeah, Pak Usman, is your draft article is the rising of financial connectedness in emerging and developed countries during COVID-19? Is it correct, Pak Usman?
Yes,
okay.
Is that correct?
Yeah. Irfan, please display Pak Usman's draft, and Evan will briefly review the draft.
This is the paper that sent to us, is it? Sent to me, eh?
Yeah.
Oh no.
This is, I think it's different. Yeah. Okay. This is
a different paper.
Different paper.
Yeah, it's a different paper. This is a different paper that sent to me. I do not receive this one, so I do not have this part. Anyhow, Thank you very much, Usman from Gajah Mada. This one, the rising of financial connectedness in emerging and developed countries during COVID-19 outbreak. So, but yes, this, if I read the abstract, the abstract that we just write up here, this is the abstract of this is what we call as structured abstract. If you write this kind of abstract, means that you have already your target journal, which is mostly Emerald Journal. Am I right? You target Emerald Journal because most of the Emerald Journal actually use this type of abstract. Most. No, Emerald Journal, yes, all. But other publisher, they normally don't use this type of kind of abstract, right? So yes, that's what I can say. So let us look into that. This study examined the dynamic financial connectedness in emerging using the index by these two, Diablo and Yilmaz, COVID-19. Okay, it says that the first study talks about this. The connectivity between capital market and developed country has converged in earlier before WHO announced Shanghai play crucial, becoming epidemic connectedness, and then so on and so on. So my question, I didn't have a look of the full paper, but certainly it's quite a long paper. It's quite it's complete paper already. So do you calculate the index, the connectedness index, or you use what is available outside there, or you calculate it? I'm sure you calculate it, right?
Yes, I calculate the index, the interconnected index.
Based on the formula given by these two person, right?
Yes.
Are they doing something on COVID-19 also, or they're doing just on financial connectedness?
Especially for financial connectedness. So this is yeah, as I told you before, I do some meta-analysis, and mostly the paper covers about volatility, and I try to cover the connectedness. That's why I try to write a paper about connectedness, and I see that Dupont and Yilmaz methodology is good enough to cover the topic of connectedness during the pandemic.
Okay, this is interesting. I mean, their study, the one that you cited originally, are they doing on this topic, or they're doing on something else?
No, just Dupont and Yilmaz published in Journal of Econometrics. So they publish mostly about the methodology, just methodology.
The methodology on the connectedness index only, right?
Yes.
But nothing to do with financial connectedness.
Nothing to do.
Okay, or you just use this as put in your idea here to look at that perspective. All right, that's good. That is something that you can move forward. I have to read the whole paper to see, but from the abstract itself, it's very interesting. It's very interesting to look at that. Then again, I'm sure that while you're doing this, you already have your target journal. Your target journal means that what's your target journal for this kind of research. And maybe inside here also, while I'm looking in this abstract, you do not mention on the sample period. So what's the sample period for the analysis that you do actually?
Well, I employ before and after the outbreak, before 2013 to 2000, at the end 2019, and the early of 2020 to July.
Oh, so
July.
you do pre, during, and post.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So you look at the whole sample, or the whole thing, or just you separate it off?
Combine between, combine. First of all, I see the before COVID-19, the evolution of interconnectedness, and then during the COVID-19, and recently issue of the COVID-19.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. This who is looking at it? Irfan, can you go to the result there? Do you plot anything to prove that the interconnectedness? Do you
Yes,
plot
yes, of course.
convergence or something like that? Not figures or something like that. Let other figures.
Yeah.
Or some transition.
Next.
Go down. No problem. Oh. Go down. Irfan. So your period is up to July 2020, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. This figure 2 there is interesting. Yeah, figure 2 there to show the connectivity network between these between the stocks. So you have to prove that there is a connectivity between the emerging market and developed market stocks, especially right in this particular session of the pre and then during and post outbreak, right? This is what you want to prove it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you find that kind of result? Do you find that there is such an indication to prove that there is a connectivity or connectedness between all these sessions?
Well, I believe before COVID-19 outbreak, the China Stock Exchange is not the epicentrum of volatility or epicentrum of the connectedness.
Okay.
But once we have announced the outbreak globally, maybe you can go down, Irfan. The network topology has changed, and it is time varying.
Okay. All right, it's time varying. So is this good? Dynamic. Oh, okay. Go down, I think. Not this one, right? This one, is it? To prove it.
Yes, this is
Yes.
the index,
Yes.
the calculation of the whole index from, as I told you, 8 capital market.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the red is connectedness, and the red one is spillover, and black one is connectedness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
increase.
is based on the index that you that calculated from the formula that given by that used by Diablo and Yilmaz, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Then you construct it yourself in that sense.
Yes, correct.
That you calculate construct. All right. Okay. Go down. That's good enough. That's good. You can go down. Very good way of doing forecasting. This one you have this kind of figure. So all right. Okay. Wow. A lot more other figures. Very strong paper. I'm sure this one will be able to publish it. Do you have any target journal?
Well, to be honest, I don't have any idea until now, because I just finished this paper.
You should have by now. You should have by now, because you already written the paper, everything. So you should have what journal that you should go, which journal that you should go.
Do you have any idea, Dr. Awang?
For time being, I do not really have, but you can look, because the paper itself is quite long. So certainly you will not be able to target those latest paper. Latest means that the finance research later just now, no way you can go inside there. This one nothing to do with financial innovation. You look at those, maybe I'm not sure, maybe some look at your own references of what journal that they publish such a thing on financial connectedness index, and then you can target that journal, but not journal of econometrics, certainly, because journal of econometrics normally are very, as you know, so some applied work, maybe journal of international money and finance, maybe some other than related to that. This one nothing to do with banking and finance. So I do not know. I don't really have the idea. I only can give you some example if I will be able to see the whole paper. Take time to see the whole paper. But then again, you should know better now. By now, Usman.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Wait
Maybe
to
I can. Yeah. I can chat you on the Facebook maybe.
yeah, no
Sorry.
problem. I'll be happy. I'll be happy to help. Right.
Okay. Thank you.
To suggest few journal. But this, I think, is a very as this glance, it looks like a very promising journal, very promising paper to be published. And the country, the market that you use also, yeah, it's a very is the I mean it's considered as you mentioned that develop and emerging market. So good luck. So please do chat with me in the Facebook and let's see and this one can be published certainly. Just that you need to strategize what journal to go in.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so the time is already 12:25. Yeah, so this is the end of our sessions. Once again, thank you again, Dr. Evan Lau, yeah, for the sharing, for the insightful discussions, and also all the participants. Yeah, we're back to Denita for few announcements, and we should take photo together. Yeah, okay, Denita, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Evan Lau, PhD, for the insightful presentations. And thank you also for the participant. During your busy time, you have a time for this workshop, and we really, really appreciate it. And so we should first take a farewell photo shoot. So I would kindly ask you to turn on your camera so that we can see.
Everyone must smile. So we are live on YouTube, is it? Which YouTube channel?
Yes, we're on the YouTube as well, sir.
Maybe after this you can share the link to me or email the link to and share with my faculty members. So that is
sure.
official thing. But I didn't know it's live on YouTube. All right.
Okay, so I think everyone, some of you have turn on the camera, so I will have to take the picture. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I wear batik Indonesia.
Very nice.
Bought in Indonesia. Surely it's nice.
Thank you. And if you haven't filled in the attendance list, please do fill in the form of attendance list in the chat box. And also, after this, you will get the e-certificate from our team and will be emailed with you. And also for the e-certificate for Mr. Evan Lau, also it will be emailed to you after the session. And also, last but not least, I'm hoping that after you get these insightful sessions with Mr. Evan Lau, you can also submit your articles to our journal website, and I will put it in the chat box so that you can access our journal website so that you can put your article and submit your article there. Okay, I think that's all from me as the Master of Ceremony for today. And thank you so much once again, and see you in the next webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all participants. Terima kasih semua.
Terima kasih.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
See you.
Yeah, hope to see you all in person. Bye.
Terima kasih.